get it, bro. PD is a work in progress. If you need my help, I'll be more than happy to step in and blah, blah, blah. And just like, bro, literally is sucking our dicks. And then the next day loses a gunfight and quits the whole server. Lost a gunfight, gone. Like, that's it. Tries to push fucking the Forgotten, loses the gunfight, gone. Like, it's so ridiculous, bro. Like, they talked all this shit. They lose one gunfight, gone. See you later. That's too much.
Peace. I've never RDM. Don't do that.
Blue, turn that damn music off. Fuck is you talking about, cuzzo?
What's how you speak?
I lost a gun, man. Just RDM if you get mad. Yeah, exactly. Just scream racial slurs, dude. That's the way you handle it. That's how adults do it, at least. Chill, Shifu, chill. Thompson, chill. All right. When this officially start, we're about to start. Gotta go inspect that. All right, yeah, it's we're about to start right now. This seems like we got a decent amount. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. Right, so Chase is gonna work with you guys. I want to thank Chase for putting this together and scheduling this out. Chase is gonna be working with you guys. Chase, are you too sleepy from shucking shrimp, or are you good to go?
I can function today. I took my medication. I took my medication. I'm okay.
All right.
Yes,
okay.
I'm not gonna be different. Yes.
Okay.
I took my medicine, Daddy.
Okay, so point, I'm going to go over the point of this meeting and kind of what's been brought up and why we're all here. And then hopefully we're going to work towards a solution. Okay, so the nuts and bolts of it all is this. Basically, and don't everybody, like I said, we're all playing a video game. Shit happens. We're all here to come to a solution. That's why we're here. We could have gone about this a different way, and we could have gone to each individual person, and then we could have deliberated, between staff, and then come out and been like, okay, this is what everybody's doing. But we wanted to do it this way so that everybody has an opportunity to come to a solution together, right? Because if you guys are all helping each other, that's the way it's supposed to work. And if you guys are all helping each other, then hopefully you guys will be more inclined to obviously follow your own rules, because we are working towards a good middle point. Now, to start this whole thing off, I do want to let everybody know that first and foremost, I do not think there is a server in the world that has truly conquered the symbolic, the smoothness between PD and Crims, right? I don't think there's a single one. You can ask anybody. You can watch any fucking stream, those crazy Brazilian servers, fucking all of them, right? You can streams. And I don't think there's a server out there that has truly been able to master it. There's always going to be complaints, right? There's always going to be people that lose. There's going to be people that win. And some people are going to get mad. They're going to think police are too overzealous and whatever. We've tried to create systems in place for people to express themselves if cops get a little overzealous, right? We've created IA. Now, the problem is, on both sides, and I've heard this from both sides. The problem is everybody complains that, oh, cops do this, and then cops complain, oh, Crims do this, and back and forth and back and forth. And then when I ask, oh, okay, well, if they did that, that sounds like a rule break. What report number is it? And they go, well, I didn't report it. Oh, I didn't report it, but I'm going to complain about it, but I didn't report it. So here's the big problem. Is nobody's reporting shit. Now, obviously, we're not trying to get anybody in trouble, right? That's not the point. We're not trying to just get everybody banned or anything. However, you have to understand that reporting something doesn't always mean that oh, you're being a bitch or you're squealing or whatever. The whole point of reporting each other is to hold everybody accountable. Because if you don't report and you don't say, hey, this person or these people are getting a little out of hand, then we can't fix it. And then you're going to continuously be like, man, fuck this. It's going to get worse and worse and worse and worse until inevitably you're like, this server fucking sucks. And you know what I mean? This is fucking dumb and I'm just going to leave and fuck this. My buddy's starting a server. It's so tight. He's going to give me staff. It's going to be so dope. So we're trying to avoid that, right? So first and foremost, IA is not bullshit. Just so everybody is understood, internal affairs is not bullshit. We take internal affairs super fucking seriously because of what it is, right? It's supposed to be like a you guys are so fucking stupid with that picture. Pay attention,
That's the best picture.
Pay attention, you fucking idiots. IA is an important department because it's literally there. It's like one step below reporting, right? Like IA is the only thing the only system that holds gangs, or I'm sorry, cop gangs, that holds cops in check, right? Like it's the only system that if a cop is just going too much in RP though, they're not breaking any rules, they're not doing anything, but it's just too much, bro. Like they're too big of a dick. They just fucking shoot too fast. They fucking do whatever. That's what IA is for. IA department is supposed to be there for you guys to complain. It's not being a bitch. A lot of you guys are dumb. You can literally get money from it. You can sue the police department and make money. Like nobody looks at it as if like, you know,
There's
like
so many lawsuits
like,
right now.
yeah, like look at it like a tool to make money. If you got it dead to rights, right? And you got a crystal clear clip of somebody doing some dumb shit, a cop doing some dumb shit, that's money in the fucking bank, bro. Like, why wouldn't you just report it? So anyways, so essentially the issue that we are running into is this, right? On the crim side of things, right? Crims feel like cops are way too fucking fast to shoot, right? They feel like it is fucking nuts. Like shit is going a little fucking crazy. And we've been hearing this for a little while and we're trying to, everybody chill with posting fucking like videos and everything. Again, please try and pay attention here so we don't have to repeat ourselves and be here for 9 hours. But they feel like the complaints that we have heard are that cops are really fast to shoot. They are shutting down RP scenes. For instance, like if somebody goes, you know, a little above and beyond and they go and they try to like get dressed to like rob houses and they dress up in like outfits and they steal particular car, like Bug Star fucking cars and shit. And they're trying to rob houses, that cops are basically just shutting it down. They're not RPing with them. They're not even pretending that that they're like exterminators or whatever. They're trying to fucking yeah, that's funny. That's really funny, Huey. You don't need to be here. And so yeah, so cops aren't going with any of the role play, which is a huge problem, right? Like everybody understands how big of a fucking problem that can be if somebody goes through the effort to like really go above and beyond and try to have like fun with it to just get shut down, right? So that's one example. The other example is cops just shooting really fast, pulling up to gang fights and stuff, pulling up to like gang wars and shit. They hop out and they don't say anything. They don't try to establish contact. They're not jumping on a megaphone yelling like, hey, you guys need to break it up or we're going to start shooting or whatever. And most criminals that we've talked to say that that's all they really want is just like a heads up. Like it just to hear something. Like there's almost virtually no initiation from cops. They pull up and they just scream, you know, they just start shooting. They just start dumping into the crowd. And then funny enough, half of the time they just drive away. They don't even like follow through with the scene. Like they just drive away. Now again, there's nothing wrong with cops intervening in gunfights. That's not what we're saying. We're not saying that, you know, crims just have free reign to fight all they want and cops have to just sit back. What I'm saying is though, it's happening too fast and it's happening very lazily, if that makes sense. Like it's very lazy the way that it's happening. Like they're just popping out one or two guys, shooting fucking ARs into a crowd of criminals and then just hopping in their car and taking off. So that's some of the complaints. Now we'll give everybody an opportunity to kind of address these. We're going to do a little back and forth here, but I just want to kind of put everything that we have heard out on the table and then we can start tackling them. So, shooting too fast, shutting down RP, just doing crazy shit. Like, you know, I've heard that Buddy, you've rolled around with fucking Desert Eagles with suppressors, even after being told not to. Just kind of random shit. Like people aren't really following fucking dress code too much. Like cops are starting to look like fucking shitlords and criminals and stuff like that. So it's kind of been agreed that shit is kind of going a little squirrely, right? That's like a no-brainer. We all agree on that. And there will be some other issues that we can bring up with crims, but those are kind of the most of it. Shooting too quick, shutting down RP, and just kind of low effort. On the crim side of things, the cops there's a lot of unrealistic, like just attacking going on with cops. And it's tough. I understand that being a cop is tough because let's be honest, like it's a lot of it is like Shifu and triads and stuff like that have been, you know, they put bounties on cops, no breaking RP or anything. Nobody can remember this. But yeah, exactly. But you know, it's tough to get shit on, or not get shit on, but get attacked over and over and over and over and over again, and then turn it off when you come across somebody who is who essentially is not like trying to attack you. You know what I mean? Like you're always just on guard. You're fucking you know, you're ready to just fucking go at it at all times. So when you run across somebody that's trying to be a little more chill or even still break some rules and shit, it's natural for that to kind of pour over onto the next person that you interact with, especially after a long shift. I mean, I was around yesterday. I was on my cop character for a while yesterday, and it's, bro, it is fucking relentless. It is nonstop, dude. Like car after car after car after supercar after supercar after ping robbery after this after that. I mean, it's very fucking like it is a lot, dude, and it does really start to breach the realm of like not realistic. You know, for instance, like Poophead. I chased Poophead yesterday about 60 times in a row. That motherfucker was just, it was nonstop where like it was store, then bank, then store, then bank. Then he'd be in my car. Then I'd be hanging out with him. And then he wouldn't even like change his clothes or anything. Like he would just go straight to a bank and rob a fucking bank. Like there's a lot of like, people are just taking the lazy route to do it, right? Like nobody is fucking really like thinking, oh shit, I was just in a fucking cop car. Like I was just talking to a cop in this outfit. He knows who I am. I was driving this car. Let me change real quick before we go hit this fucking bank. Like nobody is thinking about that. So there's a little bit of laziness on both sides, right? That is now starting to cause a lot of friction. And the point of this meeting is to try to clear all that up, right? It's so that everybody has an opportunity to kind of like fucking, you know, see from each other's perspectives, and hopefully we can come to a decent little middle ground where cops can see like, oh shit, okay, that's what's going on. Because it may not be you. You know what I mean? You may be one of those rare cops that don't shit on people all the time and you don't fucking see what's going on. And so hopefully this will be a decent little eye opener for everybody, and we can come to an agreement. But what I will tell you is, regardless of what happens at the end of this meeting, regardless of what everybody agrees to do differently, as staff, we are going to be cracking down fucking hard. Any cops that don't know how to fucking do it, any cops that are part of the problem, we're going to just start removing you. It's just that simple. I would rather have less cops than shitty cops that are just fucking shitting on everybody and fucking basically acting like a criminal and causing people to not want to fly in because of how shitty they're being. So, and it goes on the crim side as well. Criminals will start being punished. They'll start losing their whitelisting if they're whitelisted. There will be consequences on both sides if people don't start RPing, right? That's the main thing. Everybody needs to start RPing, and everybody needs to stop fucking, you know, breaking rules and shit. And people need to start reporting stuff. And why is everybody FA quitting so much all of a sudden? I don't know why that's the thing, but I just keep hearing everybody's like, oh yeah, that shit's like popcorn. Everybody FA quits on everybody all the time. But like nobody's fucking reporting it. Like it's insane to me. I don't get that. But that shit all stopped. So
I want to add in, can we chill just a little bit on taking business workers hostage, guys? Not saying don't take a business worker hostage. I'm just saying chill out a little bit. You don't need to take Ryder hostage every 15 minutes. And it's not just Ryder, everybody, but like it's happening a lot and people aren't wanting to work as a result.
Yeah, because what's going to happen is we're just going to hard code it in, right? Like if it's too much, if it's too much that like, because yeah, you're right, businesses aren't even open because they can't open. Every time they're open, somebody goes to the fucking they go to the services app, they see, oh shit, somebody's over at PDM, let's go take them hostage. And so constantly people, that's why these businesses are not staying open, is because it's like impossible. Every time they go to fucking work, they get taken hostage. So all that's going to end up happening is, you know, the easiest solution is going to be you can no longer take somebody hostage that's on the clock at a normal job. That's just what we're going to have to do, because as of right now, I don't see really like a way around it. Like, I don't want to hard code in a rule. I'd like to think that, you know, we are adding panic buttons. That is a thing. We've gone through with 3.1.
Yeah, 3.1, everyone.
Conroy and Cap and those and everybody helping with that has gone through and made sure that every single business has a panic button. But still, that's not the point. The panic button is what it is. Okay, cool. You can slam it, and by the time the cops get there, you're probably going to be gone. The point is, we need to make sure that we're spreading it out, bro. Like, if you have a little consideration, if you show up to Benny's and there's one fucking guy or, you know, two people or whatever, like, try to go somewhere else. Customers, fair enough, right? If you come in and you want to snatch up a customer real quick or something like that, like, okay, it's shitty, but it happens. You know what I mean? That's just part of the fucking deal. But like, we gotta loosen up on the workers, man. We have to fucking give these guys a break because it's the reason why there's no businesses open. It's the reason you can't fucking go to Raviolis or Coffee Bean or even Benny's anymore. You go by Benny's and it's fucking empty now. Like, you can't do shit. Like, it sucks. So
now,
anyway.
people start hanging out in public spaces, you know, interacting a little more, that'll create more possibilities for hostages as well. So, you know, if we start seeing that interaction out in the open and not just, you know, at one business or, you know, at your compound, if you all start spending time outside, you know, we might be able to find hostages easier.
That actually brings up a decent point. So we also, and this is going to be my last thing, and then we'll kick it over to Chase, and you guys can, you know, start bringing things up. We'd like to try to find like a hangout spot in city. I've noticed the past couple days, and maybe some of you guys have as well, that you drive around and there'll be like 50 people in the server, and you drive around like over and over again, and you hardly see anybody. Everybody's just off like doing their own little fucking thing. So we've been kind of racking our brain, and maybe if you guys have any ideas, you can either maybe throw them out here once we're done with the back and forth part, or put in a suggestion for things that you'd like to see for like a hangout spot, essentially. Because yeah, we've had them in the past. We've had like PDM, you know, was a decent little hangout spot. Like, you, as soon as you flew in, you'd swing by PDM to see who was all there. And then you'd swing by, you'd see fucking 10, 15 people. You'd stop in, you'd bullshit about cars. You'd fucking, you know, make some drug deals, do whatever the fuck you were going to do. And then kept going. So we would like to bring something like that back. So we would like, if anybody's got any suggestions or anything like that, please open it up. The biggest thing is going to be, like, I know everybody's throwing out their things. It can be anywhere, technically. I mean, literally, it can be anywhere. If you want it to be autos, you just have to be at autos. That's the thing. Like, you just have to go there and hang out there. Throw fucking car shows. Put out, you know, tweet out every day, 2 times a day. It doesn't matter. Who gives a fuck? Tweet out, hey, pop up car shows over at fucking autos. Like, cruise by, fucking, you know, we're doing, I don't know, JDM cars or fucking 4-doors or whatever, you know, saloon cars or whatever for all you oi bros.
We also have
you
a
just
couple
literally
of
throw out whatever the fuck you want. Like, put up little pop-up fucking things or whatever. But it's only going to happen when you guys start doing it. So just giving you guys a heads up, we're going to be looking into adding something like that. So if you guys have any cool ideas, please let me know. Or if you guys want to just naturally create one, do so. Try to, like, if you guys are bored and hanging out, go to like a business. Like you said, go to autos,
Yes.
hang out, invite people down, whatever. Go to
Don't
BDM
forget, we
again.
have some places like the arcade and like the red lights dirt track up north, paintball, you know, places. I know most people already use paintball a lot, but we do
Well, I'll
have
tell
those
you-
places open and are looking at more things like that for these sort of interactions.
Yeah, there are some cool things to do when you are bored, but I'll give you an example. Like, most of the places that I've seen that are really cool, like hangout spots, normally include like a parking lot of some sort. Normally has a garage nearby, and you know, and normally, like, people like showing off their cars. That's a big thing. People like pulling up. Everybody loves standing in a parking lot and bullshitting. And so, you know, those are the types of places that people naturally gravitate towards. So Pink Cage would be a decent one. It's got a garage. It's got a spawn point. It's got all that stuff. PDM would be a good one. Anyways, I'm just throwing it out there. Just something to think about. If you guys have any ideas, let us know of what you would like to see and kind of just like a chill hangout spot. So yeah, so that's kind of everything on the table, more or less. We'll kick it to Chase. He can go over what he would like to go over, and then we'll go from there. So Chase, take it away.
All right, what's up, my gangsters? What's going on? Can I get fucking who's in here? Omek, you in here? Yeah, give you. So I'm inviting like leaders to speak, but don't like start talking yet. Just it's like we kick this shit off. Yo, Fufu, where you at? Yeah.
What's up? What up?
Are you in here? Oh yeah, there you are.
Yeah, I'm here.
Is Berlin here or no?
I don't see
GSF?
any other gang leaders in here.
Wait, Omac can't talk like at all?
Mac, do you have like a number 2 that's here that can talk?
Wait, no, yeah, Omac, you have to accept the invitation to speak. That's why you're not.
I think he like physically can't talk. Like,
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Who can talk? Who can talk for you besides Scott?
he said, Sophie, bring in Sophie. Said Scott or Sophie. I'm shy. Don't be shy. Just get ready to fight.
Copy.
Mm-hmm.
Scream. I think that's it.
Yeah, I still don't see Berlin.
Okay. Yeah, he's probably not here right now. He's probably not
Bobby
here right now.
Johnson,
You are not the leader.
Johnson, you are so confused. It's not even funny. Of the Forgotten? Yeah, Bobby can talk for the Forgotten, right? He does it.
Oh
next
yeah,
turn.
true.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Bobby
true.
can talk for the
Actually,
Forgotten.
pretty valid.
That's chill.
Pretty valid.
Yeah, that's easy. He's fucking. Yeah, Bobby is fine. Yeah, I bet he's fine. You're supposed to be part of the lost, you fucking piece of shit.
All right. So at the moment, I think that's everyone. So I feel like everyone is at a pretty much good understanding that crims have a problem, cops have a problem, and like I said, the whole point of this meeting is to just set the norm. Like, and the thing is, I'm not setting the norm. We're all going to set the norm together of what we should expect in city. Is that everyone can agree with that?
No.
This is you guys can talk now. Fufu, I can just get Caesar because
Sir, yes, sir.
Like you.
Yeah,
Oh, Kilo. Wait,
get
Kilo's in
Caesar.
here?
Yeah, go on.
Oh, never mind. Okay, I have Kilo. Wait, why the fuck are you talking?
Yeah, you have the intelligent one.
There we go. Okay, I don't need him. Okay, buddy, you there?
I would never accept some shit like that, Shifu. That's crazy.
Yeah, I'm here.
Don't instigate it, Hammer, because you know you already know.
He's gonna. Okay.
No toxicity in the chat.
Okay, yeah, and that's one thing. If like the moment like sly shit start getting thrown, like you're out of here. Like, just we're here to have a normal conversation over a video game. So just stay chill and let's try to work this shit out. Again, my biggest problem with both sides, but I think it like at the moment is from crims, like Hammer said, like when you guys are doing banks and shit, like you guys aren't really thinking about anything at all. Like you guys are just gonna just go and do it, and like I said, no quality, and like no plan, change of clothes, like nothing like that. It's getting done like a little bit, but not. I don't feel like it's being done enough. You guys are going store to bank, bank to bank, and then just constantly robbing shit. For cops, I feel like cops, you guys are just being a little like it's way. You guys are being way too aggro right now. I think you guys have been just kind of doing your thing, and you guys gotten just way too comfortable with where you're at right now. And I think you guys just need to dial it back a little bit. But again, I don't fault you guys for doing that because I know you guys get frustrated with the crims because again, they are a lot. Having to deal with Shifu is the most frustrating thing ever, and I don't blame you for wanting to just class through the fuck out of him. I really don't. I don't blame you. But again, I see it from other parties as well that it's happening to, so that's when I actually have to give a fuck to like get it sorted. That does not mean you get to class through Shifu whenever you see him. Just to state that. But again, like I said, I'm gonna start with PD first, and I want you guys to just possibly tell me like what's your biggest problems with crims right now. Whether it's Snow or Buddy Guy, you guys want to talk? You have the stage.
My biggest problem for banks right now is that there's too many interference vehicles that interfere 15 seconds after the chase starts. Like it's a load of bullshit when we try to get into like an RP and have a chase, and then we're getting rammed into by 3-4 other cars, you know, at 15-30 seconds after the chase goes by. And the biggest problem is all you criminals, you have everyone already on standby. All the cars that are going to ram us sit across the street in the wide open, you know, and we give them a warning. Hey, if you intervene, we will shoot you. You know what I mean? And 10 seconds later, 15 seconds later, boom, they're right there. You know what I mean? And that's one of my problems.
So real quick, just to touch on that, is so there's two sides to that coin. Like, yes, technically, criminals can have up to 6, right? And they can have up to 6 vehicles. The point of that was to hopefully come up with some super interesting like getaways and like really cool diversions and like stuff like that. If it is being abused, right? Like that's obviously a problem. If it's turning into that. And I will say that if cops do run into that, like if multiple fucking cars are slamming into them and shit like that, they can shoot back. Like at that point, once you start ramming cop cars and shit, that escalates the fuck out of the situation. And we keep hearing all these things like yesterday, even yesterday, we had a truck came up, started fucking ramming us. They pulled into Benny's. We got out. I was like, hey, like fucking chill, like, you know, turn the car off, come out with your hands up. And I told him, I said, you've already been ramming cops and crashing cop cars, so we're going to shoot your tires if you back out of here. And so they turned the car on and just started backing out. We shot their tires, and immediately it was like, what the fuck, bro? You can't fucking do this, bro. And it's like, dude, at that point, like, cops have to do something, right? Like, it's not a matter of being like a win mentality or anything, because I didn't really give a fuck. We let a bunch of people go yesterday. There were a bunch of people that ducked us, and we just let them go. We stopped chasing them, whatever. But at a certain
off
point,
a bridge after him.
we jumped off the fucking bridge. But at a certain point, like, cops have to do something, dude. Like, there has to be a point where cops need to be able to like escalate the situation as well, or at least meet the escalation by multiple vehicles coming up and slamming into them and shit like that. So I did see that yesterday. I can confirm for the brief time that I was on my cop yesterday, a couple hours, I did see that a lot. So I do agree that that's a little much.
And I'll touch on that a little bit with the ramming. I know that cops have a set standard for ramming cars, like they can't pit unless it's like a certain speeds, and they can't. Obviously, you can't
under 100 miles an hour.
That goes for everybody. So I've seen it where people are driving their Jescos 160 miles per hour, trying to bubble ram people essentially, and it's just kind of unrealistic in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, it is a rule. Yeah, it's NVL. You're not valuing your own life. You, at the end of the day, no matter what you're doing, no matter what it is, you have to value your life.
Is all I'm saying.
And you need to value your freedom. You can't just throw yourself at a 60-month prison sentence just for no reason. Like, there needs to be RP behind it.
I mean, I'm fine with the interference as long as they know that we're gonna shoot. Like,
and that's why I'm saying, like, and that's why I brought that up, because again, there needs to be a little bit of understanding from both sides of it, right? Like, cops need to understand that they can intervene, right? Like, that's okay to an extent. They can intervene, but then crims need to also understand that if you do and you start ramming cops and shit, I mean, get ready for them to respond. Like, you can't, don't be fucking surprised when they start going for tires and shit and they start ramming back or they start shooting you guys when 6 fucking supercars are just slamming into fucking cops. Like, I mean, I get it, bro. Like, it's fucking shitty and it sucks. So there needs to be some understanding on both sides of that. Again, one, nobody should be ramming above 100 miles an hour. That's just fucking, that's NVL at that point. Like, you wouldn't knowingly slam into a car over 100 miles an hour. Like, you could fucking kill yourself. And two, both sides need to kind of respect that and understand that if you're going to make the decision to say, fuck it, all right, this is our plan. As soon as you leave, we're all going to show up and we're going to try to confuse them and we're probably going to ram them a little bit or whatever. Just be ready for the clapback if that happens. Like, be ready for them to jump out and start picking off tires and start putting cars out of commission if that's the fucking route that you guys are going to take with it. But also keep in mind that if it continues to be exploited and like fucked with, we'll just lower the number. Because right now, like I said, we allow 6 people, 6 vehicles and shit. We'll just lower the number. We'll bring it down to if the shit keeps getting taken advantage of, we'll just bring it down. So if people don't want that to happen, don't give us a reason to have to take it.
Yeah, we put, unit limits on major crimes to, give crims a chance. And now, if cops are being outnumbered drastically by all these extra vehicles, it's kind of hard to hold them to that standard,
The dopest scenario, the best scenario that I've ever seen was the triads. A long time ago, they did a bank, and they staged up down at the fucking at the airport in one of the hangars. They had like 5 black cars, like they were all black, all supercars, all whatever. And the cops, they hit the bank. They drove down to the fucking hangar. They pulled in, did a U-turn, and all 6 cars fucking pulled out of the hangar and went in all different directions. And the cops had no fucking idea where to go, who was what, who was with shit. Like, it was dope. That's the type of shit that we're kind of expecting, is like, if you're going to use that many cars, like, just give it a little bit extra thought and do some shit like that. Cause I don't think there was a cop that was involved in that didn't also agree. Like, that was pretty fucking sick. I'm pretty sure they got away too. And all the cops were like, yo, that was crazy. Like, that was pretty fucking dope. So it's shit like that, man. Like, if you don't want to get fucking, if you don't want to get fucking people mad at you reporting and shit like that, just put a little extra thought into it. That's it. Just try to fucking be creative about how you're going to do it. Whose idea was it? I don't remember whose idea it was, but it was cool. It was dope as fuck. It was cool to see.
Yeah, it was probably Kilo. And like I said, another thing is, and
I
I've
don't think
noticed this
Kilo's
like since
part of
I've,
that thing, but
oh shit, rip,
continue. Sorry.
Kilo. No, you're good. Another thing is like for cops,
hold on, because I
hard
want to
copy.
address what Omac said. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I do want to address what Omac said. Plans like that, they don't take that long, bro. They really don't. First of all, they don't. It takes maybe like 5 minutes, 5 or 10 minutes of a little bit of extra planning to put a decent plan together. And again, you have to understand that it may not play out the way you planned it, right? Like that's to be expected. You can think of a cool fucking plan, but understand that it's RP, bro. Like it may not always pan out exactly like that. So put together a plan B or a plan C, or hey, if shit goes fucking tits up, call in, hey, this isn't fucking going as planned. We need a rendezvous, hit plan B, go to fucking whatever. And think of something different. But what I will tell you is if criminals are putting forth the effort, OMAC, if criminals are really like thinking of cool plans like integrating boats or using, helicopters or ambush points or fucking whatever, and cops are still shitting on all of those things, well, now it's going to be glaringly obvious where the problem is. We won't have to call everybody in here and go, hey, so what's the problem? We'll only have to call cops and go, hey, we've noticed that criminals are putting a shit ton of effort in. They're coming up with cool shit. They're doing cool costumes. They're coming up with cool like fucking backup plans and all this shit. And you guys are just doing nothing but shooting at them. If that's the case, then at least for us, it's so much easier to fucking pinpoint. So I will tell you, that like I said, it doesn't take that long, dude. 5 or 10 extra minutes. And again, remember, it's RP, dude. Like we're trying to simulate what it would be like to hit a bank. So when you do that, you would put together plans and you would come up with like, you do a little bit of case in the joint and shit. And you'd be like, all right, how many fucking cops are around? Are there any cops in the area? Let's maybe stage a lookout fucking on the other
one up?
side.
Yeah, it's not like running to the gas station. You don't just head over to the bank and hit it real quick. You need to think about it and make a story out of it.
Maybe
RP
hire
server.
on a. One thing that I've never seen that would be sick as fuck is like, I would like to see people specialize in certain things. So like if you know somebody that's a good driver, like a really good fucking driver, maybe hire that dude as the wheelman. If you know somebody's like a good fucking shooter or whatever, fucking bring him on as a gunman. You know what I mean? Like
We used to do
shit
that for
like
hackers a lot.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, if you know somebody's good at fucking hacking, like, you know what I mean, cut them in and hire people on. But anyways, that's beside
especially with these new ones. These new ones are pretty complicated and intricate. So I mean, there's a good reason for that to be a thing.
Yeah, we tried to add new stuff to make the new heists the redone heists a little more interactive.
And something I want to add as far as getting away from PD, I know it's kind of difficult to stage up vehicles right now, being that they have a chance of disappearing and some they don't disappear. It's one of those off things. We will be working on vehicle persistence to where if you pull out of a garage or it's spawned by certain scripts, those vehicles will remain persistent, which means that you can go park them anywhere on the entire island that you want to. They will be there when you show back up.
Until the next restart.
Yes, until next restart. They're not going to be persistent over restart. But that system takes a lot of time and a lot of engineering to make sure it works. No, we don't have like duplication cars. Make sure that when 5 people show up in one spot, the car didn't, spawn 5 times and blow itself up or something like that. So it's going to take some time to get that system working properly. But we will be getting vehicle persistence hopefully by 3.2, if not at least by 3.3.
So yeah, just to answer that question, I didn't mean to cut you off, Chase. But the plans don't take that long, and like I said, if cops shit on them, then we'll know, and we'll just pull them in, and we'll be like, hey, you guys are shitting on all the fucking good ideas.
If cops are shutting down RP, let us know.
Yeah, that's like the big thing I've told a lot of people is that you can report like people for low quality RP. Like again, it's a role play server. If you feel like people are just not just there for the scene and they're just shutting the shit down and it's just a bad vibe and you can clearly tell they're just fucking around, like just report it. Like it's not hard to see. It really isn't. It's not hard to see.
And like I said, not everything has to be some like super emotional fucking, oh, this guy needs to catch a ban. It could just be like, hey man, this happened. Here's a clip. I just wanted to give you, make you guys aware of it. and we'll probably pull them in and we'll just tell them, hey man, last time, you know, it was a little shitty. Just do me a favor, step your game up a little bit. And just next time you run into this situation, just put a little more effort in. And that's it. Doesn't have to, not everything
I
has
will
to come with,
say-
like bans and shit.
Yeah, I will say I think if the Crims actually start planning shit and kind of doing more to it, the cops will follow along and suit. I mean, obviously we're having this meeting,
Right.
so hopefully it steps up anyways. But
Right.
Yeah, because the thing is with crims, like once you guys start fucking around and just kind of like not really putting in effort, it's really just a snowball effect for cops to just stop caring. Like that's just it.
one
They
time I was on my cop and I did a bank and Chase was there, and he was being so obnoxious that I literally just left.
Yeah,
True.
Chase sucks.
yeah, people don't like me. Isn't that right, Bear? Isn't that
I was
right?
gonna report you.
That's right.
What were you saying, Chase?
Uh, no fucking clue. We just went off the. I really wanted to hear from.
just wanted to do OMAC. So,
Yeah, no, you're good. Yeah,
buddy,
yeah.
we can pick back up. Buddy, do you?
Oh yeah,
have,
yeah, buddy. Sorry.
Any other aside from the ramming? What other complaints are you guys running into, or what other issues?
Also snow.
Or snow, yeah, or snow.
Yeah, both of you. I mean,
And Thompson,
thanks.
if you're around, you can speak too, since you're a cat.
oh yeah. True.
He's DMing me about his goddamn go kart.
Rich, are you? You're talking
tackling
about
cells.
Rich? Are you talking about for cop stuff? You have 3 things you want to talk about for cop stuff? Yes.
All right, wait, we can put on.
Yo,
Yeah.
it is me. Yo,
Oh
what
my
up,
God!
gang?
No.
Welcome, gang. Yo, what's up, gang?
No,
Yo, what's
Yo,
up,
pull up.
gang? Yo,
no,
pull up, gang.
not Thompson. Oh my God, not Thompson.
What is happening?
Oh man.
Thompson.
Hey, what's up?
All right, Rich, go ahead. What are the 3 things?
Hey, I have a couple of things. You know, obviously I'm a cop in the city. One of the biggest things, you know, the Crims keep saying, you know, cops are shooting too fast. Well, here's the thing. Here's the other side of that subject. 90% of the time when we respond to an act of a robbery or anything like that, it ends up in a chase that lasts 10, 15 minutes, right? 90% of the time we ended up getting, I ain't gonna say ambush, but just drawn into an alley and we just start getting shot at, right? Not that that's against the rules or anything like that, because it's obviously not. But at the same time, like you mentioned earlier, those same crims, once they evade or, you know, knock all the cops out, will go and hit a bank 10 minutes later in the exact same vehicle, the exact same clothes. So the cops are having that on their mind. But anyway, that's pretty much it as far as there. But at the same time, as far as somebody mentioned about like the cops are ending RP too fast. Since I've been
Real quick, hold on,
go
real
ahead.
fast.
Go
Real
ahead.
fast. So the ambush thing is going to be, that's just one of those things where I put a little bit more emphasis on the cops responding. And the only
Right.
reason I say that is because I've seen a fuck ton of cops that go headfirst into an ambush. They follow them right in. They see it coming. They're pulling down an alley. They hear them calling out on radio. They push straight into an ambush. And then once the shooting starts, all the cops, for some reason, just jump out of their cars and start shooting back
Agreed.
and then
Yeah.
die. And then they get mad and then they go off duty, right? So
Yeah, I agree with you.
there's kind of 2 things there. One, cops need to read the situations better. Like yesterday, we were chasing people, and I can't tell you how many times I kept calling out. Anytime I see them go for their radio, I start calling out, guys, watch for the ambush, watch for the ambush, get ready for the ambush. When they start pulling into like red garage, right away, I'm saying, guys, watch for the ambush. I'm slowing down a little bit. I'm not just pulling in right after them. Cops can surround buildings too. So like if they pull up and you start getting ambushed, cops need to know to like keep going, right? Like keep driving back out of that situation, surround the building, surround the area, try to get eyes on whatever. So to a little extent, right? Like crims can ambush, like you said, it's
100%.
okay. They can do that. But my expectation is cops are too quick to just like treat it almost like a shooter. Like they just jump out and expect to win. You know what I mean? Like at the same time, if crims are putting forth the effort to put together the ambush, cops have communication as well. Cops can call out. They can do all the same communicating, if not more, than the crims can in terms of an ambush. You guys can see each other's blips. They can't. You guys can do all sorts of things. So the only thing I will say to ambushes is I would put a little bit more emphasis on the cops to try and better mitigate those by not just going fucking headfirst into them. And then at the end of the day, the second thing is, if all cops die, what does it matter, right? Like at the end of the day, you guys can always, your guys' shit is cheap, right? Your
Right.
guns are cheap, your stuff is cheap. what does it matter to go back to PD and just, all right, fuck it, all right, fine, we lost one. Try to put together like warrants and shit. If there is a cop left standing, like, cops should be making the call. If there's like 2 left, if all the rest of the cops are down and there's 2 left, they should probably be making that call to get the fuck out of there. Like, gather all the information they can and then get the fuck out of there. Go set fucking APBs, go set warrants, go set all that sort of shit, and try to do what cops have the ability to do that crims don't. Set up for the long game. You know what I mean? Like I said,
Yeah.
so to that extent, I will say that cops have been kind of quick to get mad about like losing an ambush and then either just go off duty or start talking shit or whatever. But that's the whole point. Cop stuff is cheap. Just go
10-4.
buy your shit again, and you know what I mean? Just try to do a little better next time. You know what I mean? Like that's kind of the
Right.
point of that. But that's
That
just
being
my-
said, can we stop camping Zona every time the cops are there?
Yeah,
Like,
I was gonna bring that
it's
up.
a mechanic that can be used, but we need to chill out with it.
Well,
I
hold up,
think-
real
Yeah,
quick.
thank
Put
God.
a pin in that one real fast because
Yeah,
Rich
yeah.
had a few more.
Yeah, I just got one more thing.
Go ahead.
Yeah, go for it.
Go ahead.
All right, so the last thing was like I guess it kind of hits on both topics. You were saying like the cops in RP too fast. I mean, since I have been an officer in the city, I've been an officer multiple times, at least for a while now. I mean, I have never seen like anybody try and get away like I don't know if they're even allowed using helicopters or like helicopter getaways or stashing people outside, anything like that.
Helicopter ambushes.
But I mean, also I've never seen anybody like driving like any kind of like you said the pest control company vans to go set up heists or anything. I mean, I have never come across it, and if I did, and I think most officers would also agree, we're not stupid. It's an RP server. They're probably planning on doing something. You know what I'm saying? I don't think they would halt that in the process, but I'm sure some have. I'm not saying somebody's lying.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. The only
Yeah.
thing with that is, yeah, maybe you wouldn't.
Right,
but
right.
keep
I'm
in mind
I'm
that
speaking
there's
just for
a lot
myself.
of other,
I guess.
right. But the reason why we're bringing everybody in is because you guys are responsible for policing each other, right? So
Right.
like if you step your shit up, right? Not to say that you haven't, but I'm
No,
just
no,
saying,
no. Yeah.
you know, if one officer is stepping their shit up and then everybody else is following suit, they'll have no choice. It's kind of like when Chase said, or somebody said, that if criminals are stepping up their game, then cops will have no choice but to match that same level of RP, or else they're just going to stand out like a sore thumb. It's the same thing internally. If all the cops are on the same page, right, and all the cops understand that, like, you know, hey, if you run up on somebody and they're putting in some kind of effort
Right.
to like really cloak what they're doing in RP, like we should all just let that go. That should be just a unanimous thing, so that when it does happen and somebody does shut down RP, at least you guys will know, well, I know that 99% of the police wouldn't do that, so it must be this guy. And that's why I go back to saying IA reports and shit like that are also very important, because then you just put in a report and you say, hey, we were trying to do this. Again, not a big deal, not trying to get anybody banned, but this guy kind of shit on this situation, and then perfect. Then even we as staff can call him in and say, hey, this is what happened. You shit on that scene. Please don't do it again. Next time, try to give a little bit more into it.
Right.
And then we can kind of go from there.
Yeah, this last part was I'm going to finish up with it.
Yeah,
You know, just like last night. This is the last thing. So you know, we were up there beside MRPD, right? And there's a vehicle that was kind of doing crazy stuff. You know, I called for backup. Just be aware there's somebody outside. You know, whatnot.
Right.
And I kept hearing them say, "Hey, they're going to shoot. Hop out and shoot him. Hop out and shoot him." Well, obviously, you know, I called for backup. You know, a couple guys came outside. We're just chilling. And the dude hops out with a huge camera like he was shooting a movie, which I thought was freaking hilarious, right? So I go on with the
Right.
RP. You know, we just chill out. You know, it's cool. Everything's straight. And all of a sudden, without anything going on or anything, dude, like a guy in the back hops out with a class 3 and like shoots me twice in the head and drives off without even saying anything. As far as like, the reason I brought that up is when we're saying we're not RPing, I mean, it's hard to when you're trying to RP with somebody in a vehicle, then someone just jumps out of the back seat and just blasts you with a class 3.
So you know what you do? You know what you do?
What's that?
You clip that and you report it. If he
Right.
didn't say
Low
anything
quality.
to you, if he didn't say anything to you and he just jumped out and killed you, first of all, that's no initiation. And that's that's just garbage fucking RP. If you were to just, again, not get mad, just kind of
Right.
go, hey, you know what? You tried, you're right, fair enough. You played along with it, you did all that. Literally just clip it, open a ticket, say, hey, this is what happened. And that's a beautiful thing about clips. I know you have to
Right.
fill out that template, but you really don't have to say much. All you have to do is put your name. If you got an ID, put the ID, just say everything's in the clip, fail RP, no initiation, boom, and send it off. That's it.
Right.
And then
Gotcha.
we'll look at the clip And that's easy, bro. We have logs for all that shit. We could very easily pull that person in and just be like, yo, this is what you did. And based on his history, if he's new to the server, maybe he didn't know, we explain it to him. If it's a person with a bunch of bans on his record and he should know better, then he gets fucking banned. And it's just
Right.
that simple. And we can, but that's what I'm saying. We can't start weeding people out like that if we don't know. So I get it. You're right. You're 100% right that if that situation is like what you just said, I agree. That's garbage. That sucks. And I can see how that could deter you from being like, man, fuck this, bro. Like, I try to RP and this is what I get. But you can't look at it like that. You just have to look at it as going, okay, well, I did my part. You know what I mean? I RP'd.
Yeah.
I went out there. I did whatever I could. You can't control other people, but we can. We can either get them the fuck out of the server if they're not going to fucking do right. Or, like I said, we'll try to call them in and we'll try to talk to them and we'll try to explain to them, hey, man, when you do shit like this, you need to say something. You need to, you know what I mean? Like it needs to be a little more enjoyable.
I mean, I was cool. I was fine. I stayed on duty and still continued out that night. But I think there was multiple officers out there that saw the incident, and then we take that, like the same vehicle might rob something later. I guess the ones that saw that happen take that to the next scene. That could be a potential while we're shooting so fast was the whole point. I brought that up.
Yeah,
but that's it for me.
That's fair enough. Like you're right. I mean, yeah, that is fair enough. And that's why I said it is difficult to differentiate, especially when you're in a scene like that, and then like you said, you go to the next scene, and it's the same people in the same clothing in the same car. You know what I mean? But like, you also just have to be a little bit more like cops just need to be a little more confident in doing their job properly, because criminals are always going to complain. They're always going to be like, oh, what are you doing? Why are you fucking whatever? But as long as you guys have your ducks in a row and you say, well, here's the deal. 2 minutes ago, there was a fucking shooting right outside of MRPD. Here's a clip. Here's our body cam. Here's the report that we filled out. Boom. If you can link all those things up together, then, I mean, that's the criminal's fault. You know what I mean? That's not your guys' fault. That's the criminal's fault for doing dumb shit. You know what I mean? So that just needs to be, like I said, if you guys are just doing your job properly and staying on top of your shit, then you'll be able to handle that.
10 for me. I appreciate it, guys.
Yeah, no worries.
So another thing I want to bring up, a lot of people have been complaining about like cops with class 3s, and I just want to run it by like Hammer and JC. The thing with class 3s, the whole point of like cops being allowed to use them against like pistols and shit was like, if you're literally like 1 or 2 cops on duty and you get pulled up by like 6 gang members and you're completely outnumbered, you can use it. Like that's like the understanding to have, right? Okay. Yeah. So
if you're outnumbered, I think it's what, 4 to 1.
That should be the only reason that.
Right. Exactly.
Right. Well, yeah.
I've seen 2 situations so far where it's cops have like started the scene with 9 officers, and like I said, for whatever reason, again, like I said, this comes back to like just not communicating correctly, not having your guys where they need to be, not working together, and like I said, that's when you guys lose gunfights. You guys should really be thinking like how could we have played that better? Like how could we what could we have done better there to not just lose units? But what I see happen is you lose 7 cops, and there'll still be 4 crims up. Now again, these crims have to fight 9 of you that all have blue blimps and shit. So it's like, it's not really like a thing where it's just, oh, it's absolutely imbalanced. No, you have to understand you can't just pull out your class 3 because now you're the last of 9. Like that's not how it is.
Hang on, it's in our SOPs. First of all, the SOPs that
you're allowed, if there's 9 officers and you get down to the last officer, you do everything you can to keep your life. You know what I mean? So we allowed
including leave. That's my
I feel like
now everybody's mindset is like, okay, if all your cops die and you have 1 cop left, how do you keep fighting? At that point, that cop should be thinking, I need to get the fuck out of here. Like I've just lost 9 of my fucking officers. I need to get the fuck out of here. And on the same side, also be thinking, how can I get out of here? Crims need to do the same thing, right? So if crims expect that from cops, if crims expect police officers to be like, oh, fuck, there's only 1 or 2 of us, I need to fucking get out of here because I got to fear for my life, then crims need to do the same thing. And I never see criminals fearing for their lives when it comes to cops, ever. I've never seen a fucking criminal that's been like, oh shit, the cops are here, we gotta go. It never fucking happens. They always just assume, fuck that, fuck pigs, we'll just fucking shoot them and shit, and it just sucks. So that's why I said it needs to be done on both sides of things. But yes, you should not be pulling your class 3 out. unless you are outnumbered. If you're backed into a corner and there's nowhere for you to go and you can't fucking get away and they're chasing you down or whatever, then that's when you're able to pull a class 3. That's when it should be. But I would say that the mentality needs to shift. If you're down to your last like 2 officers or 1 officer, sure, pull out your class 3, but you should be using it to get the fuck out of there, not keep fighting 9 fucking criminals that you were just in a fight with. Like, you should read that situation and be like, bro, I'm fucked here. Even with an AR, dude, I'm about to get fucked. That'd be my suggestion. But that's why we're here, is to talk about all this stuff.
Real quick, now that Rich is done, before we move on, back to the Zona thing that we were talking about earlier.
Wait,
It does
can
need to chill out a little.
That's not the only
ahead,
way to
Chase.
pull out class 3s, though.
Okay.
What other way would there be?
If there's a class 3, if we get class 3 shots, we respond with class 3s.
Oh, well, yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
We're
of course.
talking about.
Yeah, if they have
Oh,
class
I got
3s,
you.
you
No,
can
no,
have
no,
class
no, no.
3s.
Okay, so yeah, I'll just
Yeah,
I think that's what we should cover that as well.
Yes, we were saying in the event of, he said, pulling a class 3 on a pistol. That's what we were talking about. Class 3
Yeah,
for
I
class 3
understand that.
is always going to be the case.
fair,
That's-
Automatic on
100%.
automatic.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, because again, like even if a crim has an Uzi, like it's still an automatic. You guys are allowed to use class 3s. It is what it is at the end of the day.
Yeah, it's automatic.
Yeah. We don't do like, oh, class 2, class 2. No, we don't do that.
It's very rare
automatic.
to see a cop carrying an MPX and a M4.
Yeah,
Well,
exactly.
we've had a lot of criminals complain lately that like, oh, we're only using class 2s, you're using a class 3, and
Nope.
I'm the first one to say automatic fire is automatic fire. If I have a class 3 and you have a class 2, I'm sorry.
And
Like,
that's why I said, like, at a certain point, like, you need to just be confident in your shit. Like, you need to just, if you know you're in the right, you know, okay, there was automatic fire, that's why I pulled this out, then you just keep going. Criminals are going to complain. Of course they are. They're always going to, oh, bro, what the fuck? Just push past it. Just be confident in knowing that you're doing what you're supposed to do. And you don't have to be a dick and you don't have to talk shit back. You could just go, okay, man, hey, listen, if you have an issue with it, feel free to make a report or whatever. Just keep going with it. Don't feed into it, because criminals are always going to complain. Why wouldn't they? It works half the time. All you have to do as a criminal is be like, hey, you're not allowed to do that. And
Be
then all the
confident
cops
in
start
yourself.
questioning themselves, and then they get away every single time. So you know what I
Be
mean?
confident in yourself. Follow through with what you're doing, and if there's a mistake, it can be corrected later. You know what I mean? Through the department. But typically, I would just say follow through with what you think you're supposed to be. Obviously, cops, cadets, like they need to get trained. So if a cadet does something he's not supposed to, I mean, the Crips start freaking out. Like that's to be expected. He's a cadet. He's in training. And I know they just recently changed their training program to where they go through and they step by step walk you through on how to do certain things versus just letting you do it and telling you what you did wrong. Oh, I don't know if that's correct. Is that correct, buddy guy?
No. So the way that the academy is set now is a lot different. So we don't have cadets wait for academies for several weeks on end, and then they get bored and never come back. They go straight out in the field for the first couple of days for 3 hours. Doesn't matter if they do it in 1 day or 7 days. It's completely up to them.
Well,
And then they
yeah,
go
okay.
through
Well,
the
either way,
academy.
bottom line is like just be confident in what you're doing. If there's a mistake, it can be corrected within the department. I mean, crims will always just
don't let
don't
let a crim tell you how to do your job. That's like you
I mean,
just
if you've
look and
ever
laugh at them.
arrested someone like I don't know Shifu, it's like the most annoying thing. He'll run around. He
But
makes it
guess
fun.
what? That's realistic. Like, I mean, have you ever watched Cops, bro? Like, I mean, that's realistic. Like, criminals complain. What are you doing? You can't touch him, blah, blah, blah. But it's like, bro, they're gonna complain. Just keep pushing forward. Don't listen to it. As long as you're confident in your shit, like, just do what you got to do and you'll be fine.
Yeah.
And if you did make a fucking mistake, it's okay. Like when I was chief of police, bro, everybody used to freak out and they were like, we're getting sued. Like, well, yeah, we're getting sued, man. Of course. Like, did you think we were never going to get sued? Like, it's going to happen, bro. Like, people are going to make mistakes. It's not that big of a deal. We'll pay the fucking money. We'll keep going, because at the end of the day, it's a fucking video game, bro. Like, it doesn't matter. Like,
Bell was probably the biggest criminal, and somehow he still continued to always sue the PD and make out with money.
Yeah.
He did it like at least 5 or 6 times.
Thompson, go. What would you like to say?
Hello. For you guys that saying cops are shit, can you actually report them instead of just saying nothing happens? If we don't get eye cases, we're not gonna.
Thompson, we've gone over that like a bunch of times.
I know, but
gangster. I don't report shit.
In city too, and it's annoying. Like people are like,
Okay,
saying
and
all the cops
if
are
people do it
shit,
in
no one
city, then
reports
you guys can also report that for rules planning or doing whatever. So I
Well,
mean,
not
just
role playing. I mean, like IA reports, not like player reports.
I mean, if
no,
they're
but
complaining
that's
about
what
it
I'm
in city,
saying.
that's just role play. I mean,
Yeah.
I
Yeah, but that's
can't
we've
do
gone.
much about
We've
it.
said
Oh,
again,
right.
IA is a valid thing. Like it is. Please use it. Like just
do a very
file
good
your
job.
IA report. You will get either money or the cop will get fucking penalized or something. But I promise you,
If
there
that
will
doesn't
be an
work,
outcome.
sue them.
Yeah, exactly. We have
I
lawyers.
We
can-
accept lawsuits into DOJ all the time.
Yeah, I consistently look through IA reports just to review them, just to see how everybody's handling them. And ever since this new department's kind of got up and running, they've done a pretty good job, I'd say. They investigate both
all
sides. They
improve.
ask what's going on. and-
They.
Who is it? Oh, is it just you?
It's
We're
me.
trying to
No, it's not
respect.
just.
We're trying to respect pronouns.
Oh, yeah,
Oh,
that's
All
very
right.
true.
So, okay. Did you have anything else, Thompson, aside from what we already talked about?
No, that was a good one though.
Okay, perfect.
I do
Okay,
have one from another cop within the department that has said so. So this came from Rick Jones. He was on the point of cuffed criminals inside the cells, constantly tackling cops down to the ground in the toxic way of manner. If that can come to a stop.
That needs to just get reported though, because that again is like just low quality RP. You're just being a shitlord. Like you're not. Once you're in those cells, I'm speaking to criminals. You guys have to understand, like, you just have to like accept it, man. Like that's at that point you're done. Like there's no getting out. Like just go through with the RP. Don't start fucking freaking out. You can fight. Don't take this as in, oh, just plead guilty. No, if you feel like you haven't done something wrong and the cops are mischarging you, you have every right to fight that in RP and bitch and complain. But like, yeah, the tackling and shit is just no, it doesn't need to be happening because
Running
again, that
around
shit's
giving them a
ridiculous.
hard time for 30 minutes and then saying, "Can you just sit? Can I get time served? I've been here forever."
Yeah,
Like, yeah,
no.
well, you did that to yourself.
Yeah, your
Exactly.
time served will be revoked almost every time if you make it hard on cops. There's a provision in the actual law for that.
And that's why we're saying we're going to be cracking down on a lot of this. So again, this is another one of those things that falls into just report it. If somebody's doing it, clip it, report it, send it in, and fucking, like I said, once the scene is done, we'll pull them in and we'll tell them how shitty RP it is, and we'll get it taken care of.
Yeah.
So just that's another one of those things. Please report it. We can't do anything if we don't know about it.
Also, simple traffic stops. All right, I love that RP. There's a lot of ways we can RP around traffic stops, right? And a lot of people fucking speed through the city like there's no tomorrow, right? Driving the wrong side of the road. But when we pull over people in the traffic stop, we'll have 2, 3, 4, 5 other vehicles pull up, park behind us, park in front of us, park next to us, and all just like talk shit and wondering why their buddy's getting pulled over, and then they fucking cause all this shit. Like, I think that needs to just like stop.
So that's another one of those things that
like-
falls into just fail RP. For me, the only reason why you should make a traffic stop more difficult than it needs to be is if you have like a pocket full of drugs or something.
Or a warrant.
Like if you're
Which most people do.
if you're but I'm talking like fucking weight, bro. I'm not talking like some joints or some fucking whatever. I'm talking like there needs to be a valid RP reason as to why your boys are pulling up and interfering in that traffic stop. For you to do that. It can't just be for goofs, for shit. Oh, we were just bored. They pulled up. Fuck these guys. Fuck the police. That's why. That doesn't fly. So if criminals are doing that, if you're pulling somebody over just for just a regular speeding ticket or whatever, and crims are having their buddies pull up and doing all that sort of stuff, again, I'm not going to say that every single situation is going to be classified as fail RP, but what I will say is you do have every right to clip that and send it in. And say, hey, we were just trying to conduct a traffic stop. The guy didn't have any warrants. He fucking didn't have whatever. Because we'll pull him in and we'll say, hey, why did you go fucking crazy during that traffic stop? Why did you just pull off? Why did you shoot those cops? Why did your boys pull up? And unless there's a valid reason, like again, I had a fucking warrant, or I had like $1 million in drugs on me, or I had a bunch of dirty money, or whatever, then it will be considered fail RP.
Also, guys, remember a speeding ticket is a misdemeanor with like a $1,500 ticket. Those cops aren't going to search you for a speeding ticket unless you give them a reason to search you. So even if you do have your pockets full of meth,
get the ticket.
Yeah, even if you do have your pockets full of meth, the cops have no reason to search you just for speeding.
And
like they literally have no reason or right
and
to
it
do
could
that.
be considered cop baiting if you're just doing it because you're bored and you just want to get into a chase or you want to start some shit, that would be considered cop baiting as well.
And
So you need to make sure that just go along with it. It doesn't take that long. Just give them a little bit.
Just let them give you a ticket or
like dip. Like, who cares?
What makes it
It's
worse too is
nothing.
if they drive off, 99% of the time I have my plate reader on, and I don't know if people understand that. But if I try to pull you over and then you take off and I don't catch you half the time, I'm just make a bolo on that vehicle, and then people get mad when 3 people pull that vehicle over for evading, and they're like, "Oh, what are you pulling me over for? I didn't do anything." Oh, because you evaded, and I put a bolo out for your vehicle, and now you're considered a threat.
You will get code 5.
Exactly.
If you see
Like,
2 cars
people
pulling up
don't
behind you, you should
understand
expect
that, and they're like, "Oh, this is not right," and they bitch and moan. Like, you evaded. You made
But that's
yourself
why I'm
a
saying
suspect.
that's gonna fall back on your guys' shit to be dialed in. Because if we
Now-
come to you and we say, "Hey, why are you code 5 stopping this? Why are you doing whatever?" and you guys can say, "Oh, here's the report from earlier. Here's the report when they took off. Here's why we did shit or whatever." Then at that point, we're just gonna tell the crims to suck it up. That also kind of goes back to just being confident in what you guys are doing. They can complain all they want. They can be like, "Oh, why are you fucking doing this?" As long as your shit is dialed in and you have like the paperwork to back it up, you have the report, you have the incident, you have all that sort of stuff, then you should have all the confidence in the world to just tell them this is why. A lot of criminals complain saying that they don't necessarily know what's going on or know why they're getting into this or getting into what. So I will say, if it's not being done, cops could also do, I'm not going to say a better job because I don't know how it's necessarily being done right now, but make sure that you're communicating what happened. You know what I mean? Like, try to have a little communication, and that'll work the same way. If the crims are shutting your guys' RP down, if you're taking the time to say, this is why we're pulling you over, this is why we're doing this, blah, 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 and then they just shit on that and they're not allowing to have a conversation with you, then that'll go back to what we've been talking about, where that's just kind of shit RP. But the criminals are saying that the reason they're having a tough time is because they don't know why they're getting stopped. They don't know what's going on. They don't know, any of that stuff. And
That
that's where
has
just
been an
said,
issue.
go back to
But
do your job properly, and you'll have all the shit to back it up.
the issue I have with that is because a lot of the times when you get pulled over, they're like, "Well, we don't have to tell you why," and it's like, "Well, then why are you pulling me over?" Like,
Yes,
you know
they
what I
do
mean?
have to tell you why.
That's
They
a lot
also
of
have to
times-
tell you
a
why
lot
you're
of
being
times they
detained,
say
why you're
that.
being arrested,
But
all
see,
of that.
They always
wait,
say.
here we go.
I
Here we
always
go
hear,
again.
"I don't have
That's
to
an
tell
IA
you."
report. That's an IA report.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's simple.
I agree, but I'm just saying, like, that's why, like, we get frustrated because y'all. I've had it happen a lot where they say we don't have to tell you, and it's
But
like,
see,
you have body
but
cam or
that's-
anything? It's, we don't have to show you, and it's like, okay, well then, like, what's
Okay, well, they
like,
don't have to show you body cam. I will say that, but
Okay, I mean,
they
that's
should tell you
fair enough,
why.
but-
They should tell you why. And realistically, you should not be getting frustrated, right? Like the guy behind the computer should not be getting frustrated. Your
yeah,
character
I'm
can
speaking
get
for myself.
frustrated and then head straight to the police department and file a fucking report. Be like, hey, I just got pulled over. The guy didn't fucking tell me what, like, all that is also RP. Like, a lot of people think like, oh, there's no RP in it or whatever. All that is still RP. Go down, file a report, then call a lawyer. Clip your fucking body cam, call a lawyer, and then that's the best part is if you pay.
Well, you
the
don't
lawyer,
even
he'll
you don't
do all
even
the work.
always you don't even always need body cam for IA reports. I've seen cases where people have detailed information, and when they question the cop at hand, it matches up with the story. But obviously, they obviously did something.
The one thing, like, everyone keeps talking about like IA reports and stuff like that, and I completely understand that. Yeah, that's a valid thing. It does get taken action on, but see, for everyone else who's just sitting playing this game, see the amount of stuff that cops might do from time to time. Well, not time to time, like every day more or less. See if you're going to need to spend, like, say 20-30 minutes per night filling out IA reports, it's just draining. We just want to play a video game at the end of the day.
You don't have to. It doesn't take that long. And I'll also tell you, your lawyer can fill out an IA report on your behalf as well. But it's not. I'm not saying you got to take 20 to 30 minutes. I don't think IA reports take that long, do they? I mean, I haven't filled.
No, it's
No, they don't.
No, they take a couple of minutes.
That long?
They don't.
Put it in context.
I mean, if and that's what I'm saying. Again, yeah, obviously we're trying to button up. You're saying that, oh, we'd have to fill them out all night long. But what we're saying is, if you fill out the reports, right? Let's say at least if cops can calm down a little bit, and we can limit that to maybe getting into one incident per night. Maybe some of them you let slide. It is what it is. You know, the cop is just being a fucking dick. Maybe some are actually IA worthy, and you can go, hey, this guy was a total fucking piece of shit. They will get stricken and they will get demoted and there will be consequences. So if you don't want to interact with that cop anymore, your best chance is to fucking file an IA report. That's your best chance of not running into that guy again. And that's what I'm saying. If you don't want to fucking be the one to fill it out, you can also get a lawyer to fill out an IA report on your behalf. You're going to have to pay him a little bit, but something tells me that you got a whole bunch of money that you probably don't have earmarked for anything else. So fuck it. Get a lawyer on retainer and do a little bit of RP that way. Call your fucking lawyer and be like, yo, shoot him an email. Hey, this guy fucking did this. Here's a body cam. Can you fill out an IA report for me? We can sue him or whatever. And if it's something past an IA report, then put in a normal report. And then that can also be taken care of.
And something you can do on scene is ask for a supervisor. I've been on duty several times as a state police officer and never get any supervisor requests.
Well, now that's
right
another
every
thing.
civilian to have a supervisor request.
As a crim, I have had cops deny supervisor requests or just ignore me when I ask for them. I'm not saying it happens with every cop, but it does happen. We need to be more attentive with stuff like that.
And that's why
if crims are asking for names and badge numbers, supervisors, why they're being pulled over, cops should be giving that stuff.
Right.
And another reason why we have.
Then those cops will be removed. It's just that simple. If it continues to happen, right, and people are continuing to report it and stuff like that, then those cops will just be removed. And effectively, if leadership is not doing anything about it, like if high command is not recognizing those cops, let's say they're just regular officers that are doing this and they're not fucking doing anything about it, then high command can also be fucking removed. Because at the end of the day, cops and crims are you guys are very important factions to the server. Everybody that comes in, they're going to interact with at least one cop or one crim or whatever the case may be. And there needs to be, like, shit needs to be dialed in. Like, everybody just needs to have fun, be understanding about it and whatever. And if somebody's going to continue to be an issue, then we'll just remove them. Like, it's just that simple.
Yeah,
like,
we're not denying the fact that there's probably some issues. There's not some issues with how cops have handled traffic stops or whatever that. But that's why we're bringing it up now, so everyone can kind of talk about it and we can move forward.
Right.
And another way of reaching out for a supervisor, especially when it comes to reaching out towards state police, state police on the business app is separate from PD. So if you see state police on duty, as in the business is open, then you can send state PD a message directly.
And
so
if
if something's happening and they're,
if it's bad enough, you
can
slash report in the city. Keep in mind, if a cop's being just a super fucking asshole, like being a dick, not RPing and doing whatever, just slash report and be like, yo, this cop is being a fucking piece of shit. Like, can somebody come over here and take a look? And we'll go over and spectate. And if the guy's being a fucking asshole, then I'll fire him on the spot. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, he's the commissioner after all.
I'll log in as my commissioner, bro. I'll metagame the fuck out of that information. I'll blow that motherfucker out immediately. That's what I'm saying. The key point is use the tools at your guys' disposal to get shit fixed. You know what I mean? Like, don't just complain, like, in your little discords or in general chat or whatever. Like, just file a report, like, you know what I mean? Like, let us know. And then sure, if nothing's getting done, then by all means, dude, you have every right to fucking complain.
Also,
I'm not seeing any reports come through, and that's the bigger issue.
I would like to add this towards PD. I think we need to be doing a little more with your cadets, because when I've been on duty lately, I keep running into cadet. And I'm not just talking about cadets that are like one day in. I'm talking about people that are getting solo cleared as I'm seeing them make issues. They don't know how to do fingerprints. They don't know how to fill out a bolo. They don't know how to do half of the stuff they're supposed to be doing. So we might want to highlight some of that stuff a little more in their training.
So Caesar wants to bring up cops being handcuffing and escorting immediately, which has been a bit of an issue.
Real quick though, it is on both ends though. It is
correct.
The escorting shit 100%. is 100% is both
like
ends.
At a certain
it goes with
point,
the Zona stuff.
Exactly. At a certain point, cops have no choice. Like, if they don't escort you, it's going to go on for hours. It'll never end. Like, you'll just constantly fucking run. And it's cancer. It's pure fucking cancer. So I will say, if criminals want to see that kind of like cool out a little bit, you also need to understand that, like, there is a point where you can just give up. Like, there is a point where you can be like, all right, fine. Like, they got me. I'm fucking handcuffed. I'm done. I promise you, if you guys stop running so much while you're in cuffs, cops will start chilling out on escorting. But I also have seen some clips where cops are basically like, you know, freeze or you'll be tased, tase, run up, cuff, grab. And that should not be happening. My rule of thumb, like whenever I do policing or whatever, is pretty simple. And I did it yesterday like 1,000 fucking times. Is obviously you fucking yell out, hey, you know, I'm gonna fucking tase you or whatever. If you tase them, let them get up. Just hold on them and be like, hey, get up and put your hands up. You know what I mean? You don't have to grab them right away. Just keep your taser point on them. If they start to run again, then sure, tase them again. Once you tase them, go up and cuff them. Give them a minute. Let them stand up. Let them see if they break out of the fucking cuffs or whatever. After that, if you cuff them and you've given them multiple opportunities to get up and shit, at that point, fine. Tase them, grab them, and just put the shit to bed. Because if I get it, dude, at a certain point, it's going to go on for fucking hours if you just never do it. But there is a middle ground that everybody needs to find. Like I said, crims and cops. Everybody needs to understand that at a certain point, like, cops need to allow people the opportunity a little bit to fucking jump up and have their opportunity and not just get manhandled. And crims also need to understand that too and not take advantage of fucking the fact that you can run and tackle and do everything while you're handcuffed.
Well, I agree with that, and I try to tell my guys all the time, especially if it's in their first car and they get out, just run after them. There's no reason to tackle or tase because we have a SOPs for second. What happens if they get into a second vehicle and a third vehicle? So I try to let people run to see if they're going to get in another vehicle or what happens, and if they're not after a certain period of time and they're continuing running, then I just fucking tase them. Game over.
At the end of the day, everyone's gonna have a lot more fun if everyone is helping everyone else out with RP, with interaction, hold each other accountable. We need to work together to make a fun game. If everyone's just doing their own thing and saying fuck everyone else, no one's gonna be having fun.
Yeah, so I will agree that, like I said, the grabbing shit, definitely needs to cool it. But at the same time, crims also need to understand that as well. Once you're cuffed, once they've, sure, like you can maybe run, I'd say like one more time once you're cuffed. And then after that, bro, just give up, man. Just fucking chill. Like you can talk shit and you can fucking be rambunctious or whatever, but just like stop running. Like stop tackling people when you're cuffed. Stop fucking doing all that shit.
One thing I think is, and this goes on both sides. It's like when you tase somebody or whatever, the cops will run up and instantly cuff them. I think you should give them time to stop like being electrocuted, obviously, and then they go up for the cuff. And then I've
Yeah,
seen it
man,
where
you can't.
crims will just run into somewhere, not say a word, tackle a cop, zip tie him, get their boy out, and just run with their boy. Like, you got to give a little bit of time in between. Like, if you just tackle them and you're zip tying them as you're tackling them, that's pretty shitty.
Yeah, we let that go for a while. A lot of people have been doing that. They tackle and zip tie at the same time, but
Almost the same
it's
exact
becoming
time.
an issue.
Right.
It's
And every
not.
time something becomes an issue, it becomes a rule.
It's not just the tackle and the zip tie. It's the tackle and then shooting the cops down effective
Well,
immediately.
warlording is allowed.
Yeah, warlording's allowed.
I literally warlorded Chase as a cop yesterday. Ryan's got into a shootout. He ran up behind me. I pushed his little chubby butt over, shot him in the head.
But if
I
one
caught him
gang
before
is
he walked
doing it
away.
incessantly to you, bring it up with staff. We have Chase here as gang manager. He goes and talks to these people and says, "Hey, you all are being dickheads. Chill out." Like that's part of his job. We talk to him all the time when we need to communicate. Well,
It comes back to
he does it though.
staging and keeping distance, unless you have no choice, obviously. But anything else?
I'll bring up another subject. Yeah, crims are complaining that a lot of their vehicles are being seized. Because you are constantly using them in a gang shootout, and when you die and the cops don't intervene, we go and clean up the mess. And when I see that Edward Poophead has 3 vehicles in one fucking gang shootout, I'm gonna seize him and wonder why Edward Poophead had 3 cars on the fucking street in a gang shootout, and Edward Poophead's not even on scene. You know what I mean? And then I get, oh, why'd you seize my car? Why'd you do this? And it's like you let people use your cars, and people don't have responsibility when they use your cars. And when I see that your car has been involved in 3 shootings in one day because I have the license plates, I'm gonna seize that vehicle. And if it's already been seized once, it's gonna be seized for 3 days. And once it's been seized for 3 days, it's gonna be seized for 7 days. And everyone thinks
Poophead's
that
gonna get a warrant for questioning.
like that's my
So
sense.
last I understood, we had like a system, right? So like, what's the system for seizing right now?
Four felony crimes per on the DMV. So 4 felony crimes used in that car, 1 day seized. Then if with that 4 felonies, if 2 more are added, then it's approved for a second seizure, and then so on and so on and so on.
So there is some limit to it. It's not just, hey, I'm going to seize this car, and then you see the car again, you're like, hey, I'm going to seize this. So
you'll have to commit a crime with it, and either police catch the car because you abandon it, or you get shot and they find the car. Like, they have to get their hands on it to seize it in the first place. So if you get away, it won't be seized.
Basically, so if it's used 4 times, you guys are seizing. Basically.
Yeah.
Prior high command
Maybe
approval,
on the
yeah.
4th, probably on the 4th.
So for a seize to go through, it has to be approved by a sergeant and above.
My thing is, if it's been reported and stolen, let's say all 4 times, and y'all don't catch the guy, y'all still seize it? Because then y'all don't know if it was him.
No,
well, I mean, if it's being reported stolen twice a day and being used for crimes, that starts to get suspicious.
No, I know what he's talking about. To be fair, though, they call anonymously right down the street from the bank and say my car is.
I agree if it's like that. Like, I mean, then it's obvious, right?
If
but
you
like,
go
I'm
down
just
to the
saying,
police
like,
station,
because
yeah,
I've
write
had
a
a
report.
buddy of mine get his car seized, and I mean, of course, we're using it, but like, he's actually not using it, and I mean, in the way it's stolen,
so-
right? But y'all still seized it.
So Omax says right
Y'all
here,
never
now let's find out, right? Let's see if this is an exaggeration or whatever. Does this ring any bells? Omax says my car never got seized, and then it was seized for a week.
The reason why Omax cars are seized for a week is because he's also like a fucking poop head. He has 4, 5, 6 vehicles on every scene of his. People are driving his cars, and he's not even in them. That's why
I will say, Buddy came to me about the situation with OMAC. We had a discussion as DOJ PD thing, and he was completely valid in seizing OMAC's car because there was just a ton of evidence that OMAC's vehicle had been used in all of these crimes. Like, there's just a whole bunch of them.
And that's the thing with criminals. They don't think before they act. So they leave us trails of breadcrumbs, and we pick those breadcrumbs up and we build it.
Hold on, before we start talking to people like kids, bro. Like, let's take it easy. So I will say that there is going to be consequences for that, because I do think it's fucking ridiculous that all these personal cars are constantly being used. There is going to be a consequence for that. So, like, for instance, yesterday, I called out with a Poophead. Again, had a car that he did a bank. He left. The car came back to Poophead, and I said, okay, let's put out a warrant for questioning. That's it. Just for questioning. I didn't say we should arrest him. I didn't say we should do anything. I said just for questioning in connection with this fucking bank robbery or whatever. And Snow was like, well, we have to talk to DOJ and we have to get all these reports. To me, that's fucking nuts. Like, I think if you are using your car, especially like in bank robberies and shit like that, there has to be a consequence to that. It can't just be a free-for-all for everybody to pull out all their super hyper cars, use them 9 times over and over again, and just have no consequence to that.
I did touch with Conroy on that earlier, and he said that cops can get warrants for questioning.
Yeah.
And all that really is saying is that you can contact that person and ask them to come down to MRP.
Well, no, the warrant for questioning allows the cops to go and pick the person up and bring them back to PD. They're compelled to go with them, just there's no charges. PD has to talk to them and try to get charges built off of what they say. All it does is gives cops the right to pick someone up and detain them for questioning.
Correct. And
if you play your cards right, you're walking out.
So that's exactly my point. Like that's obviously the first step, right? So there has to be consequences. Like, and you're right. Like, I understand. I get it that, yeah, you get your car seized, that it fucking sucks. And, it's that's your car. So it fucking blows that you don't get your fucking car now for a while. But like, at the same time, you have to also understand that, like, you can't just use your car over and over again and expect nothing to happen. You know
Steal
what I mean?
a chop shop or boost car.
Get fucked.
They have upgrades natively. Steal that and use it for a crime.
Yeah, so that has to also be a little bit of an understanding that there's going to be consequences for repeatedly using your car over and over again. Like, it has to enter your mind that, like, oh shit, I've used this car now like twice today in 2 different banks. I should probably grab another car for at least like a day. You know what I mean? Like, that has to be a fucking thought process.
Or switch to your homie's car so it's not your name coming back on every single crime you and your boys are doing every day. Like, you got to switch it up. Same with your clothes.
Yeah.
So yeah, in terms of the seizing and shit like that, I mean, again, as long as you have your paperwork and your reasoning and shit like that as to why, I think again that's kind of the major thing. So like Omak was just saying, where he's like, why did my car get fucking seized for a week or whatever? Then that just, you need to be able to explain that when asked. That's it. And as long as you have that, as long as you have your shit dialed in, your reports, here's why we did it or whatever, then that's fine. I don't think there's an issue as long as your shit is backed up.
Yeah.
I mean, do you agree with, oh, he said he knew why, but he just still didn't. Yeah, I mean, again, it depends on severity. I would say, I mean, yeah, maybe a week was a little fucking much.
I think a week for
I don't know because I wasn't there. I didn't.
In that situation, it seemed appropriate.
His
That's why I
cars were
said, I
definitely
don't
seen
know.
before we just seized him for a week. Like that's the whole scenario. And it wasn't like all his cars were seized. It was one that we seized.
Well, okay, so with that being said, I have a question, because if you see that one for a week, does that mean the next time he gets it seized, it's just going to jump from a week to whatever the next level is, or does it start back at 3? Like,
I mean, we have documents on all the license plates and every time they've been seized and stuff like that. So it depends like what car it is and what car is involved and stuff like that. Like we have a whole DMV of all these.
Right, but say it's that car again next time.
Yeah,
How
it'll
long
get
would you all
seized for
seize
a
it
week.
for?
I mean, what are we supposed to do? Start it back from a day, 2 days? Like, I don't know. That could be something we could do. I'm not
Well, no,
against
we
that.
did have a system before where it did start over at a certain point. It
you
was
haven't
like,
Okay, I'm
it was
unaware
like
of
a
a system like
day.
that.
It was,
So
yeah, it was like a day first go, and then after that it went to like, I think like 2 days or some shit, and then after that it eventually got to like a week. And then if it got bad enough, then there was like a month that your shit could get seized after a certain period of time. And then after that, like points would fall off. Like if it hadn't been seized in, I don't know, like a week or something like that, then you'd get like a point falling off. So next time it would go back to a day or whatever. So what I would say is let's drill that down, right? Like
All right,
let's write a legit fucking system for it that everybody can follow. And then that way, if anybody has any questions or whatever, it's simple. They can just go right to the sheet. How many times has it been seized? None. Okay, then it's a 1 day. If it's been seized twice, then that's a 2 day. You know what I mean? Like let's get that put down in black and white then.
Our MDT has a really nice point system built into it now for DMV cars. So when you go in there and you're looking at a car in the DMV section, there is a little slider bar with points. You can put a point on a car just by sliding it. So it'd be really easy to keep track of it, especially since there's a notes section right next to the slider.
Yeah, so let's do that, right? There's a solution. What we'll do is we'll sit down, let's have PD, let's put together a simple like roadmap on when to seize, when not to seize, put down, first offense is maybe an impound for no money, second offense is an impound for 10K, and like have it systematically kind of get worse. And I would say let's try to utilize impounding for money a little bit more at first, and then turn to seizing. You know what I mean? Like after they're impounding it, like you should impound it for like 50 grand or something like that before you start seizing a car. Like
I mean,
I'd rather it hit the pocket first before we start taking their cars, for like that long a period of time. But that's what I'm saying. Let's put it down in black and white. Let's get like a quick seize guide that literally people can just pull up and go, okay, well, it's been a first offense.
I know I talked to State about only having command, being able to access the seized vehicles, because we have a rat in our department that's releasing seized vehicles.
With 3.1, that will be updated to lieutenants and above, I believe.
So that's something I spoke about, because I impounded more than like a handful of vehicles.
We have an impound log. You can see who's releasing.
Yeah, but you can't. You can't see who's unseized vehicles. I spoke about that. You can only see who seized it.
No. We used to have the log, but because of the 3.0 changeover, the bots that we did have for impounding vehicles and jail and fines don't log in our log files.
Yeah, that log was public to high command because it was to be used by you guys, because there was no way to do it in city.
Yeah,
it didn't have a system for it.
Yeah, it doesn't track anymore.
So at the very least, until we can get that bot fixed, it will be with 3.1 lieutenant and up. And if you You want to change that
we
after
can
the
get
bot's
that
fixed, we can revert that back.
But that's the least of my worry, to be honest. Just.
But I mean, if somebody's releasing cars,
But I know
with
someone's
PT, I mean,
releasing
that is an
cars
issue.
because
Well, I
have
heard
all
about
the
It's
that
been
situation,
almost
so it's
every
pretty
one
crazy.
y'all seized.
And there was one car when I woke up the next morning, and I was so pissed off. Like, I couldn't believe it. I really couldn't. I must have had 7 6 in there, and it
Was that the one you had the warrant
that-
on
that
that
will
disappeared?
happen, though,
yeah. I
you
had
know
a
what I mean?
warrant on it and everything, and it was gone, bro. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, I don't
That will
remember doing
happen
that.
though. There's going to be some corrupt cops and stuff.
Wait,
like
which
that. You
which
can only
car?
address it as it happens.
I would have to go look
Because
back.
there's a few cars that I've released back to
We
the
can-
public because it's had
we
no
can-
paperwork.
That's a
Worry
later
about that later. Worry
discussion.
about
Yeah,
that
we
later.
can
We're
we
good,
can
but
deal
no
with that.
worries.
Like, yeah, we can deal with that
Anyway,
afterwards. But
it was just
we'll
I
get
just
that
asked
dialed in.
for
So we'll get the
some
process dialed in. And we'll like I said, so that way hopefully things aren't getting escalated to being seized. And if it does, then there needs to be just a good reason as to why they deferred from the standard fucking reasoning or whatever. So that way if somebody says like, oh hey, my shit was seized for a week for the first time, there's a very clear reason. Like we can just read a report and go, oh, that's why. Because it was used in 17 banks in one day.
I agree. I'll sit down and rewrite stuff.
Yeah, so if we can just get that done, I think that'll help.
Documentation.
That'll help a lot.
That's
That's
one
a
thing I
big
was
thing
trying
I've
to
been telling
do.
cops.
That's one thing I wanted to review when we first redid UPD and got it all squared away and stuff. Was trying to review some of the stuff. I just never got around to it. I got real busy IRL. So I mean, I'm more than willing to sit down with you, Buddy and Snow, and help you guys out and rewriting. And
Well, I also give it to the crims too. I give you a lot of credit. I need to start holding my officers more accountable for their paperwork because it's shit. Like when you pull a vehicle over and there's no report, like that's fine, but you should make an incident report. Quick, pulled over this vehicle for this. You go to a shooting and there's a car. You make an incident, and I need to be better at it too. I do a lot of stuff in CID chat that I don't really put out on MDT and stuff, but every scene is like an incident, and there's a lot of scenes we go to and nothing's being reported on it, and it stems into like a bigger scene. Like when you see a gang vehicle around and you pull them over or something like that, make an incident, and when you see that vehicle again, then you put 2 and 2 together, and that's what we're not doing.
Just to
paperwork is half
clarify,
of the RP for a cop.
Yeah,
Are
like, we're not doing
you-
the simple RP stuff, like the simple paperwork that everyone needs to be doing. And I give it to the crims because a lot of times we get confused, and I get confused when I read shit, and I'm like, an officer will come to me and he's like, oh, he did this, this, and this, and I'm like, there's nothing written about it. Like, what do you want me to do? Like, I don't have the evidence, pretty much.
I get it. I get that.
Another thing we used to do is we would put like in the reports section, that would be for all the situations where we didn't actually have like a suspect in custody or something.
It still
because
is though.
those reports are generally shorter to fill out because they have less fields. So maybe if we encourage cops to use
Now,
those a little more
gotta-
frequently as well, to like save them some time so the paperwork's not so bad for them, I guess.
I had a question, but it's kind of irrelevant to what's going on right now. I was gonna say, shouldn't incident reports be when you're or reports? Never mind.
Be when you're arresting people,
that
yeah.
comment before everyone starts roasting me.
Yeah, incidents are only for when you've got suspects. The reports are basically the other sort of crimes that we deal with. So just a one-off shooting, traffic stop, speeding ticket, so on and so on. Because you don't need to write up, you don't need to make an incident for a speeding ticket. Because you can just look at the penal code and see, right, that's how much they're getting.
Gotcha. All right, this is one more thing I do want to say. This is for the crims. The cops now have access to the Weasel News app. So if there's like a lot of stuff going on to where they need to deem the city code amber or code red, that is your place to go see it. So if a cop pulls up and he has a class 3 and you're like, yo, why do you have a class 3? What the heck? Blah, 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 blah. You need to check that because obviously you're not going to know unless you check that. And sometimes in situations, if it's, there's a lot going on, there's multiple cops being killed, people are just driving around like maniacs, having gang fights, it will escalate and it'll be posted there. Now we've dialed it in to where it needs to be very severe for somebody to deem the city code red. Because I mean that's essentially martial law at that point. But yeah, that's basically it on that.
Taken up on another subject with involving with the business app sections on the phone. There's one to 911 system. Crims and other civilians need to stop using the 911 system and the business app to ask how many cops are on duty. Find out an RP. Just today, we had 3 911s and 2 business apps asking how many cops were on duty.
people shouldn't
Yeah,
be.
Yeah, that's
I mean,
just
kind of-
lazy, guys. Come on.
I mean, you can. Don't get me wrong. I mean, if you're buddy with a cop or whatever, and you're calling me like, yo, how many of you guys are around or whatever, that cop tells you that's whatever. That's kind of just part of their RP between each other. But like texting the police or like, well, the app, I mean, and then like obviously putting in 911s. That's kind of just
What I say a lot is I say enough. There's a lot of criminals that'll come to me and be like, how many cops are on duty? How many of this? And I'll be like, enough, or not enough. You know what I mean? And most of the time lately, it's been enough. I don't really say how many there are or what, but I will say like enough. You know what I mean?
Hold on, real quick. Let me touch on what Caesar just said. Can we talk about cops shooting at us during gang fights? Okay, so from my understanding, and then I'll let Buddy correct me if I'm wrong. When you guys are shooting in your gang territory or non-populated areas, they won't shoot at you guys or interfere unless you guys continue at when the cops show up, you continue to just sit there and fight and not, leave the area or, try to get out of there. Or B, shoot or aim a gun at the cop or anything like that. Now, if you go to Benny's and you get into a gang shootout and there's civilians inside and you're shooting your AK at some gang inside of Benny's with the civilians running around, a cop is probably going to shoot you.
Wait, why? There's civilians in there.
All right, so
Because you're shooting at them.
Yeah,
I'll back
and
this up in a
just
calm way.
because
Hold on.
civilians
Okay,
that you're
so
shooting.
quickly, we had a factions meeting not too long ago, 2 months ago. I'll make this as short as I can. And it was talked about pushing gang shootings up north because it's easier. It takes a lot longer of time for cops to arrive. All right, and we talked about when you're shooting in an area, there might be a cop nearby. What do you think he's going to do? Not respond? Okay, and
But
especially
he's not worried about it being. He's talking about just them showing up and just they immediately
again,
interfere with the gang fight and start shooting.
this was pulled up in the last meeting. If you're shooting in a high public area and putting the lives of locals at risk, we're going to intervene. Especially if we have the units to. If we don't have the units, we're not going to intervene. We're going to clean up the mess, bring people to Zona, and be smart about it. But recently, we've had a high number of PD where we're able to start shooting, or maybe you'll get shot at. Especially when it happens at Red Garage, when it happens at Alta, when it happens at Benny's, when it happens at any kind of like shop. It's like it's out in public in the city, right?
Yeah, you have to remember that cops have to stop people from getting murdered.
And someone said, why do cops put their lives at risk? That's part of the job. Like IRL, this server, like it's their job to protect people. Like at the end of the day, they put their lives at risk. That's what it is. So
basically, if you're in Benny's or any other business and you're in a gang shootout, I mean, obviously, if you pull into Benny's and there's another gang there, shit might go down, right? But you should expect that if there's mechanics in there and they're trying to like hide and not get shot, and you guys are still just continuing to shoot when cops shoot up or show up, then they're probably going to intervene. But they should be saying something first. They should 100% be telling you to put your gun away and leave the area or anything along those lines. It shouldn't just be straight up shooting.
I agree with that too. We should definitely do a better job at saying,
I think that's
shoot.
Yeah, I think that's the main thing is that right now, the last two scenes I've seen, there hasn't really been any like communication. It's really just been, I mean, I even watched three cops show up. I watched three cops show up with class threes, completely outnumbered, and they just said fuck it and went to town. And I was like, what the fuck is happening? Because like that's crazy.
You talking about the time I did it at Benny's?
That might have been it. That actually might have been it.
Just GSF versus Ballers.
Yeah.
We had a lot of cops on duty. That's why I did it. Oh, actually, no, that was Buddy Guy. Blame him. I remember now. Anyways, bottom line is if you're doing a gang shootout, and you guys are driving around looking for each other, like obviously you guys are gonna run into each other at some point. Where you guys run into each other, you're probably just gonna fight.
Yeah, because we can't just like, just always fight in the fucking desert.
Right,
But
but you
my
guys
thing just still stands with like the or not really hostages, but like locals like in Benny's, like, and then y'all pull up and kind of help and shoot too. Like I don't know, that's just kind of weird. Because like then I'm just gonna shoot the locals there inside.
Not locals. We're talking about.
I'm talking about like like players like us. Like if they're hiding and stuff, and then y'all are shooting at us, and I'm just gonna turn around and shoot one of them.
Well, then I mean you're still gonna get shot. That doesn't really fix anything. But I get what you're saying.
You're not
get charged with attempted murder
as risk. I mean, you're not putting their life, at.
He's probably gonna get attempted murder anyways. He's shooting at people. But
That's true.
Yeah, like,
there's
I'm
a bunch
already
of people
down
asking
to
a bunch
come,
of things
so.
off of this. So hold on, give me a second. Let me read through this, and then cops don't care about the locals. They shoot at anybody. Why all of a sudden? I don't think he's talking about locals. He's talking about like civilians.
Yeah, I'm talking about like us, like.
And then when you guys are doing gang fights, if you guys are fighting on your turf, like if you're in your block or whatever fighting or around your block, cops should be showing up and staging, and then trying to get you to leave or stop what you're doing, right? Um, in my opinion, I mean I don't know, it's not really a set thing, but I mean the only thing that cops should intervene on is populated areas, and then I'm talking about like showing up and actually getting involved, shooting and shit. Would be populated areas, businesses or whatever, pink cage, all apartments, stuff like that. If they're on a gang turf, they're up north, or they're in like kind out in the industrial area or anything like that. Like if there's no immediate harm for other people, then they shouldn't be just showing up, put your gun away, you're going to be shot, and obviously they're not going to put your gun away and then start shooting. I mean, do you guys agree with that as criminals? I mean, do you think that's fair? Wade, Jax Wade.
Yeah, it's cool with me. I don't care. I was just putting with the hostage thing here.
Well, like I said, I mean, I'll speak for you. I don't think that's fair. I disagree with that.
Yeah, well then, what do you think would be a better option? The cops just sit there and let you guys continue shooting?
I think, I mean, honest to God, I think if it's clearly if the cops can see from a point of view that it's clearly two groups, like gang members for sure, wearing gang clothing, then honestly, what Caesar said, they shouldn't care. They should let them.
Like if we're like let's say like we were like I don't know, like maybe at like the beach or something fighting, right? And if it's like literally like GSF and like triad shooting, and then y'all pull up and it's literally just us shooting, y'all getting involved is kind of weird.
They should be well. They should tell you to leave the area. They need to stop what's going on. You guys are still in a game.
My thing is, we had a couple times where we started shooting, and in the middle of the shootout, the cops got involved. So we started leaving, and then the cops just started mag dumping us, and we were already leaving.
Yeah, and that's another thing I want to touch on is whenever like shit like happens, like especially I feel like for a cop point of view, like if you see 6 crims or 4 crims get in a car with class 3s, and you're like your cops, you are all scattered because you're trying to figure out what the fuck is going on. You shouldn't just hop in your car and go chase the group of crims. Like you clearly see you've got 911 calls of down suspects. Like you need to stay at the scene and de-escalate that scene.
That's what I was going to touch on in between this. Is
don't chase and Rambo shit down because you know you can class 3 them. Like
with you guys getting in a shootout, obviously there's going to be downed individuals. Whatever gang wins. If you guys start grabbing bodies and trying to take them when cops are there, or if you start trying to rob them and they say, "Hey, stop robbing them, leave the area," I mean, they're going to give you a couple chances, or they're going to come after you and try to detain you. Because
I mean, we're definitely going to try to get around.
I think it should go back to the like rather than cops shooting in a gang war. Like, let's say we have a gang war like GSF versus Armenians, and we kill all the Armenians, and we're like looting and grabbing bodies. I think that's the point where a cop can walk up and be like, "Yo, drop that body, or you're gonna get shot." Because then you can make the decision on what you want to do.
I'm just gonna say right now, we're not gonna go to a system where criminals are allowed to just shoot as much as they want, as long as they're shooting, just as long as they want until everybody's down, and then whatever. It's not gonna happen. That sort of shit. That's arena style play. To have cops just sit back and not be able to do anything or push in until you guys are done shooting, it's not only like super unrealistic, but it's also it's just gonna be it just sucks, and we're just not gonna do it. That's just not how it's gonna work. I'm telling you right now. It's so weird. It's such a weird thing for cops to pull up to like a gang war and just have to sit there. And just have to be like, "Oh, I wonder who's going to win this one," and just sit back and let you guys go at it and murder each other and do all that sort of shit and not be able to do anything. Like it's super fucking weird. And it's like I said, it's crazy unrealistic. Like it makes no sense.
My thing is
right now.
So then, what you're saying is we should just kill the cops when they pull up to the scene as well? Then?
No, what I'm saying is you guys need to take the police into consideration. Like that's the whole point. When you go to war, that needs to be a consideration, right? Like if you were in a war, right, and you were thinking, should we go to war with these guys? The cops need to be a factor. Like you guys should say, okay, if we go to war, one, we're not going to be able to work normally. We're not going to be able to do our normal grindy fucking things. So our pockets are going to get hit a little bit. Also, we're probably going to get arrested and we're probably going to have some shit taken. That's going to put us on the map in terms of fucking police. Like that has to be a thought. We're not going to remove to where the only thing you have to consider if you want to go to war with somebody is how many guns you have. That's just, it's super unrealistic. Like the police will always have to be a factor whenever deciding on whether or not you should go to war. And that should also play into effect, like we were talking about earlier, where you choose to go to war. If you guys are at Benny's, like it needs to be a thought like, okay, if we push them here, you know what I mean? Chances are there's going to be a cop somewhere. Somebody's probably going to get arrested. You know what I mean? Like that needs to play into the consequences when you're weighing your thought process.
I mean, yeah, but I kind of to what like JC was saying. Like, I understand if cops wanted to like neutralize a gang war if they're doing it right. Like, let's say they pull up with 6 cops. You know, that's enough to maybe flip the table and neutralize it. But if you got like fucking Johnny Guns pulling up with the fucking suppressed M4 and he's like, yeah, I'm just gonna fucking pop out, kill one, reposition, pop out, kill another. Like, I mean, that's just dumb. Like, and I've seen it happen.
Well, but that's and that's why I said that's a very different thing. And at that point, I mean, I would assume that it'd be pretty easy for Crims to just go ahead and fucking kill that guy. Then, if that's the case, you know what I mean. I would think that guy shouldn't be too big of a fucking of a problem. But I mean, and if he does that, I mean, that's realistically that's borderline also not valuing your life. I don't see why that, depending on the situation, would be able to be reported and then spoken to about it and say, hey, why did you push 12 criminals as one cop?
If you're outnumbered, you should be waiting for backup.
Yeah, like at that point, that's just fucking dumb. But like I said, I'm telling you right now, this server will never turn into where cops are not a consideration. It's just not going to happen. If you guys want to be able to just have wars and do all that sort of stuff without, you know, all you're thinking of is how do we shoot more and how do we just go to war more? There are servers for that, if that's what you want to do. It's not going to be this one.
So let's say GS7 trads are at war. Could we have an agreement with, like, you know, a war term with them that if cops were to get involved, we would not like work together, but unify and kill the cops and then go back to what we were doing?
So the issue with anyways. The issue with that is that's not realistically, like that's not really how it's supposed to work, right? Like it should work when you hear cops come, you guys need to leave. You guys need to wrap up whatever the fuck you're doing. Wherever you're at in the fight, like that should, when you start hearing sirens and you start seeing cops, your first thought needs to be everybody pull back and let's get the fuck out of here. Grab what you can and let's fucking dip. We gotta go. Cops are here.
Real world gang isn't going to interact with cops if they don't have to. They're going to do everything to stay under the radar. Like,
now, with that being said, if that happens every now and then I mean that's just on cops. Like they should kind of be prepared for that to an extent, and they should be ready for, you know, that to happen if they pull up for everybody to turn and start shooting at them. But what I'm saying is I don't necessarily agree that it should be like part of your war terms where if cops ever pull up, because then that's super fucked up. I mean, you guys can have 6 people, that's 12 people against the fucking cops every time, and now we're right back to fail RP. Now we're right back to that's not realistic.
If the cops shoot out of a GSF, if it starts out the cops are interfering and they're interfering with just GSF or because they're the ones that won or whatever, or there's like one baller guy left. If they happen to shoot at that baller guy too, I mean, he's probably going to retaliate. But you guys shouldn't be planning it.
Yeah, if it happens, it happens. You know what I mean? Yeah, if you guys all like fucking, you're like, oh shit, the cops are here, and they start shooting at both, and then you guys both just turn and start shooting at cops, and it just so happens that you guys end up wiping the cops or whatever, then I mean that's just something that could happen.
All right, so
but if it's scripted, then no.
Real quick to clear it up, right now, if you are in a public location, Benny's, Alta, core businesses, any of that, any of your apartments or populated areas, Legion Square, etc., Pink Cage, whatever, cops will probably interfere. They'll try to arrest you and stop the fight. If there's immediate danger to a civilian, right? Like if there's civilians around. Now, if it's just 2 gangs fighting, I mean, obviously, if they're out of populated area and there's no civilians, they can kind of take it under their discretion. But they should be telling you to stop. They're not gonna They're not gonna wait for you guys to fight. They're gonna tell you, hey, leave the area, clear the area, and they should be giving you multiple chances before they even try to interfere.
Yeah, they could be kind of lazy about it. They don't have to just like, hey, get out of here and then start shooting. Like they could be like, come on, guys, wrap it up. They could maybe fire a few warning shots or something. You know, like they could also RP it out and not have to be so fucking. You know,
I will say though
that
that a lot of our cops are gang members too. So I think that, and I don't say this is 100% true for everyone, but that might bleed over a little bit with how they act in shootout, just naturally.
But just to put that to bed, we will never go to a system where cops don't interfere in gang wars. It's just not going to happen. It's way
forward,
too fail RP. It's just not going to happen.
Moving forward with that though, buddy guy, are you in greens with how we just word that?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Okay, and we will try to get the cops to give a little bit more time and leeway in the situations instead of trying to shut it down within the 2 seconds that they get.
Yeah, the big thing is just call out. Like if you guys pull up, I mean, because that's the one thing that like Chase and I have been talking about. We've been hearing from criminals is that cops aren't even saying anything; they're just getting out and shooting. So you guys have megaphones and shit. Like you guys have ways to reach out. Like you guys can just park up, blare your sirens, yell out, say, you know, break.
We're also gonna be looking for another method as well.
I think that's a
and
good
then,
idea.
Yeah, and then sure, like if they're not breaking it up and they're still fighting, then do what you got to do.
There is one thing I want to bring up, and it's when the Bearcat is out. All right, and listen, I'll be honest. The only reason and the only time Bearcat is going to be out is when we are on a raid, whether it's an arrest warrant, a search warrant, or any kind of property warrant. Okay, and the fucking Bearcat obviously attracts people like fucking bugs at a light, and it needs to stop. People are always so curious when the Bearcat's out, and they need to understand when they see the Bearcat, SWAT is in Bearcat. They don't have they all with class 3s, okay, and they're not playing around. And when you guys decide to come up next to the Bearcat and mess around and talk shit or something like that, you think escalating on a regular patrol's hard? We're gonna jump out and shoot you with the class 3 if we think you're a threat to us. Like especially because we're on a mission at that point.
Yeah.
Like that's the only time we bring a Bearcat out, and when people see it, it just attracts them tremendously. Like, oh, Bearcat's out, oh, this that. Like,
when the Bearcat comes out, you should go check your house, man. Make sure it's safe.
Okay, so
you'll figure. So Uguay said we'll figure. Like people want to figure it out. You'll figure it out when we knock on your door. Like, if you think you're gonna get raided, you probably shouldn't be driving around the city.
Yeah,
you should be checking your property.
You
should be
whatever.
You know, like. Once you see the Bearcat and you're not at your property, it's too late for you.
With cops raiding at 2 a.m., I mean, we have EU players, we got AU players, we got if there's enough cops on to fulfill,
they have to raid when they have the numbers.
And that's not true at all. 95% of our raids happen right after 9 o'clock tsunami because that's when we get the most officers. And
bro, don't tell them.
Well,
in the past, it has. He's speaking off of past experience.
Yeah, I've made plenty of announcements. You know, 9 o'clock. Let's get these people on officers. You know, I don't know who's making raids at 2 a.m. Eastern, but fucking me. I'm sleeping.
Sometimes me.
When Triads got raided like back in like March or February, whenever it was at like midnight Eastern.
Can I bring up something that like I kind of want everyone's opinion that's here, and I mean I already know how one person in particular feels, but
There we go.
you know, I feel like you know, obviously there's like a level of realism on shit you would never kind of be able to do in the real world, but like at the end of the day, you know, it's a video game, for example. It's like we'll never be able to push PD and go steal evidence from a locker. That's just an example. But I feel like the past raids that I've been on, like when we raided Triads, and you know we had all of Shifu or Mings, whoever's fucking loot it was, and one Bearcat. Like if Triads were to have fought us, like and beat us, it would have been for no reason because you know when we stored all the loot, it was in a locker that only cops can use, like with slash rack. And I mean, me personally, I feel like it's kind of lame because like, I mean, it's just like a fucking.
You can't access the loot.
Okay,
Yeah,
hold on.
You can't.
I can go ahead. I can go ahead and put that.
Hold on, Hammer. Hold on, Hammer. Hold on, Hammer. Hold on, Hammer. Hold on, Hammer.
No.
Someone mute him.
No. We've talked about it, And what he's talking about is the fact that when cops get the loot, they put it in a fucking thing where criminals can't access it. So what he's saying is once cops get the loot, that's locked up and criminals cannot get it. Right? That's what you're talking about, bro.
Yeah, that's what I was talking
Well,
about.
that's essentially what Bobcat.
And you would like and you would like your opinion is that criminals should have an opportunity to get their loot back during a raid, correct?
Yeah, it's just because like it'll just elevate like the situation of like, I mean, just like fighting. Like I feel like a lot of like RP and like a situation can come from fighting back and forth. But like, I mean, you got to think about it in like the back of your head sometimes too. It's kind of like if I'm getting raided and you're already in my house and I already know the shit's in the Bearcat, like there really is no point of fighting you because it's already gone. Like even if I won, I'm getting none of that back.
So hold on real quick. So the big issue, because we've tried this, we've allowed criminals to fight back and to basically it turns into, I don't want to call it like a mini game, but it turns into where crims now have the opportunity to get their shit back. And the big issue with it is that it then turns into, instead of criminals defending their shit and trying to stop the raid, that's when it always turns into criminals surrounding MRPD, taking cops hostage. It turns into a report fest because criminals think, oh, I have an opportunity to get my shit back. And as soon as a cop like talks while he's down, it turns into, oh, he talked while he was down, and if he wouldn't have talked, then I probably would have got my shit back. So I think that's bullshit, and I think I should have another go at that raid, and I think they should put all the stuff back in the truck, and we should have another opportunity to go get it. And it just turns into dog shit. I get what you're saying. Yes, the opportunity for RP should be there, theoretically, using that system. I get what you're saying. The reality of the situation, though, is the same way we shouldn't be needing this whole fucking meeting. The fact that everybody should just know what the fuck they're doing and not be too overzealous and all that. The fact of the matter is that's not how it works. People will still break rules. People will still fucking do dumb shit, and it'll turn into unrealistic fucking roleplay shit, and it's just going to turn into fucking arena. That's the biggest problem with that system. Now, if there's, my opinion is to stop the fucking raid, that should be the main priority. Sure, if you want to go there and you want to stop them from getting anything else, or you want to fucking kill them or whatever, and you know, like defend your fucking property or whatever, it's a very different thing to then now actively attack the police officers after the initial raid is done to get all your stuff back. It turns into a very different fucking feeling in the city because all hell breaks loose and the whole city turns into just absolute fucking chaos.
Yeah, I'm not meaning like, you know, after. I'm saying like, let's say we roll up. Like, let's say we roll up at our compound while they're doing it and we, you know, successfully kill them or whatever. Like, then, like, you know, we should be able to grab our shit, like, then. Like, I get what you're saying after, where it becomes like a, well, I mean, they only got one place to go. Let's just go set up, get an RPG on the roof, you know, like.
Because the rack that they use is like not accessible by anybody else. I'll tell you
Part
what.
of the reason they're using that is because the trunk on the Bearcat is tiny and that needs to be adjusted.
Cat built an entire mobile command unit with evidence storage and all that.
Yeah,
The
so
evidence storage is also accessible to people who run in there that aren't cops.
Okay, I'll tell you what. Cap, everyone stop talking. Cap, can we make the rack system or whatever fucking evidence system, can we make it lock pickable with an advanced lockpick?
Right now, PD is supposed to store all evidence in the mobile command center and the storage in there. It has over 150,000 pounds, and I think it's like 80 slots.
And is that storage accessible by everybody?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, by PD.
Everyone can access that storage that's on the
not by
command
PD.
center.
I'm just saying, even civilians and everything. So if somebody runs up,
that's
and they
the only
sneak
thing
into the back of it, they can get into it, right? Everybody, crims and everything.
That's the only thing in the command center that even civs can get into.
The only thing they
Everything
can't
else
do.
in the command center is locked.
I insisted on that.
Yeah. The only thing they can't do with the MCC is take the MCC. They can't lockpick it and drive the MCC. That's the only thing they can't do with it.
Well, then there you go. Problem solved.
That's
if you
why
can
I
raid the
insisted with the mobile
MCC
command
while
center
it's there, get your shit out of the back, but you can't drive it home.
That's perfect.
Yep, problem solved. There we go.
Okay, so touching base on that, cops should be using the MCC. Crims have access to the evidence stash that's in the MCC. So there's no reason if you win the fight, there's no reason you shouldn't be able to get.
Right.
Cops shouldn't be locking it until after the raid's over and they're back at station. Because if they lock
So
it
even if they
there, then
lock
they
it, it's
can't get
not
in.
going to make much of a difference. They can still get in.
Oh, okay. Well, I didn't
But
know
one
that.
thing I
There you
want to
go.
touch with that is not having anyone that's not part of the raid, like a third party player, come in and just run into the MCC just to grab shit out of the evidence locker. Like if you
Well, that's
know
third
that
party.
They can while you're transporting.
No,
true,
he's saying
You can't
some
walk in it while you're
random.
moving.
like some
He's
random.
You gotta walk in that thing while moving. You
No,
go
no, no.
back.
He's saying some random guy just hears the gunshots and just picks it out. If that's
And
caught,
have a unit on the MCC.
Yeah,
watching.
you have.
No,
Yeah,
that's on play. Why wouldn't they be able to do that?
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
think you're like listening. He's saying
Keep
someone that
saying
isn't
words to me
involved.
like the way that you're saying them.
Flip the
I'm
switch.
listening.
Just flip.
I think he
somebody's
means it
not
like I
involved,
think he means
somebody-
He's
like
saying third
gunshots
party.
and
He's saying
shit.
third party.
Stop, guys, stop. Everyone talk.
But that's not necessarily. I mean, if there's a raid going on, and somebody wants to sneak in and fucking and try to steal the fucking evidence out of it, then I mean, I don't know. I guess it just depends. Okay, is it third party then? If the gang's not there to defend it, can somebody then sneak in?
No, that's what I was saying. If it's just the cops, I don't see any reason why they can't do it. But if they're getting into an active shootout with the triads,
But
they're
see,
not going to be able to
okay,
stand.
here's the downfall. Here's the one issue that I guarantee is going to happen is the gang's not going to be able to get in, and they're just going to hire a gang to go get their stuff back. That's exactly what's going to happen. If somebody's getting raided, let's say Vagos are getting raided or whatever, they're going to reach out to the triads and they're going to go, hey, we're getting raided. Can you go get all our stuff back? And the triads are going to go, fuck yeah, we love shooting. And they're going to get on and they're going to rush the fucking PD. And now they're going to fucking go after the police department and try to get all their shit out of it. And it's just going to turn into guns for hire, basically.
I mean, I see it as like, let's say cops are raiding triads. They got the MCC triads loots in there. And let's say we want to like third party that. I'm gonna call it third party. That's what it is. And let's say we sneak
Well, no,
up.
it's not third party. That's the whole
okay, but
point. That's what we're saying.
let's say we're looting the MCC. Let's just say cops pull up. Like our response is, well, I ain't going to jail. So we start shooting the cops. Now the cops are fighting two gangs now.
That's exactly my point, though. Essentially, is again, yeah, it's gonna get super messy if gangs start to raid basically other gangs' raids, because who's to say what if triads wake up and now they have to go fucking, they're trying to go get their shit back, and GSF is already fighting the cops. You know what I mean? Like, are they allowed to now continue to fight the cops with GSF? So I would say no. Essentially, I would say no. You shouldn't be able to raid the MCC unless it's your shit.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, unless it's a member from your group, you should not be just inserting yourself.
Correct.
And again, Indigo said, how about just one gang attacking at a time? So, like, if the Vagos go and they fail, could another gang interfere?
No,
yeah, but then it turns.
That's gonna get you're getting way too far.
I was just touching on it because he did ask.
I think that's a lot of communication that you're relying on for everybody to have. I just think it's super messy.
I think the best way we go
communicate. If like a 6-man dies, like they die, you won't know.
It will
like,
be messy though. Regardless,
it's going to be messy. So
yeah.
For simplicity's sake, no, right? Here's the solution.
Mm-hmm.
If you get on and you're getting raided, your stuff should be in the big mobile command center, and if you kill all the cops, then you can get your stuff back. If it's available, they haven't moved it, whatever, you can get your stuff back out of the MCC. But what I will say is this: the minute that fucking truck gets back to the police department, you're fucking done. I'm not gonna allow people to fucking, I took a cop hostage, you have to bring all my stuff. I'm not doing that shit.
Yeah, no.
So you have until the fucking truck gets back to the police department to get your shit back. If you don't get it by then that's it. The minute that fucking truck goes into the garage, that's it. You've lost the opportunity.
Yeah.
And that's all it is.
And that's you, Shifu, Caesar, directing that to you. Do not go bitch at PD and grab a cop. Oh, now they have to give us our shit back. That is not happening. I've got this much of an inch for you. Do not take the fucking mile. Please, for the love of God.
I will crit shot you.
Hammer. Okay, so what if
I'm a little mini hammer over here?
Me and fucking Asher have had something similar to this, but I'm just gonna add like the truck into the situation. What if the guy's driving over there and we're ramming the truck? He fucking gets in the garage, closes it, and then it's just over.
That's it. It's over. As soon as he gets in that garage, that's it. It's done.
That was gonna be
It's a
my
lot
thing,
harder
though.
than you think it is. It's a lot harder than you think it is.
I mean,
After
I
having that
agree. I'm
commitment,
sure
yeah, it is.
it only
yeah,
goes
I'm
70.
saying, like,
Yeah,
Takes
the
a
truck is
ridiculous
slow.
amount of
It's
time.
huge. It's it's going to take a minute to get that thing into the garage. So it's not like they're just going to be able to.
Yeah, they
fucking
can't just roll
jet
right in.
there
They have to
real
line it
fast.
up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they gotta unlock those bollards. Those have to go down. Like, you know what I mean? It's not
I
just a
get you, I get
straight dash into the garage. You know what I mean? Like, you'll have time. But that's
Could
what I'm
make
saying.
it a
Once they
straight
get
dash, to
in,
be honest.
once they get in, like, that's it, dude.
That's it, yeah.
The shit's over. Just call it and just, all right, well,
The,
fuck it,
id-
go
the
back
idea
to
should be
fucking-
once they hit the MRPD property, like once they're even if the parking lot, because again, MRPD is a green zone, it's done. Like that's it.
Oh,
Here's the thing.
No, it's
so
not.
the truck doesn't actually fit in our
That's
garage.
crazy.
yeah, it doesn't. I just
No.
So then, yeah, exactly. Then I think
That's right,
again, I
okay.
think once it hits the PD property,
inside the
GG's,
gate.
just leave it. It's done. Like I said,
Yeah.
we've now given you at least the opportunity to get your shit back. Because unless you guys wanted to go back to again, fucking throw your shit in a weapon locker that you'll never see, it's just GG's at that point. Like, you're fucked. Then I mean, that's what we're gonna go back to. Like I said,
Yeah, man.
we've gotten
Like-
this.
Like, we know Kilo's
Don't
gonna
fuck
be
it
on
up.
the roof across the PD with a rocket launcher, ready to hit the MCC. Like, we already know it's coming.
Our cars.
Here's the thing.
Hold on. My whole thing though is
hold on.
My whole thing about it is every single scene with PD is speed ran. Is literally speed ran. I see a
Yeah.
shootout happen. I see them once it's done, no matter what, win or lose. Grab bodies, throw them in cars, instantly to Zona. Once you get to Zona with a criminal, it's over. You can't get them out because once they get in the car, they're 120 miles back to MRPD.
But
There's nothing you
have
can
to
do unless you
understand-
slam them going 100.
Why would we not want
140.
You
to
have
speed
to.
that up?
Okay, stop. You have to understand though. The reason that's the case is because if they sit there, dude, you know how many cars are gonna pull up just one after the other with doors ripped off of them, ready to fucking like, bro. I got into a bunch of chases yesterday, and it was just McLaren after Jesco after McLaren after fucking meeting up over here. Like, it was just nonstop, dude. Like, it never ends. So if you stay outside for too long as a fucking cop, there's always going to be somebody else that's about to pull up and it'll just never end. So that's what I'm saying. If you don't want shit to be speed ran, then sure, if one of your boys gets caught or whatever and you guys go after him, okay, fine, dude, send like one group. And if that group fails, then that should be the end of it. Like, if you guys finally just call it and you just go, okay, you know what, dude, we sent a group after him. They didn't get him back. Okay, fine. That's it. Just ride out whatever. They're caught.
Yeah.
That's it. Just put a fucking end to it. You'll probably start to see cops slow down a little bit more when they're doing shit. But like I said, I'll be honest, dude, like, cops kind of have to fucking jam, because if not, it's just going to be one after another car pulling up. And it just
Well, you know
turns
what
to
I think the
fucking
problem is that cops don't even have the
Chief is
time. Once they have
requesting
you
to
guys, hold on one sec. Once they have, like, cops really don't have that much time. Now, I get in the middle of the shootout when they're getting shot at and shit, and yeah, they're just fucking grabbing bodies, throwing them in a car, and just dipping with, like, not even like their own officers. They're grabbing your guys and ignoring the officers on the ground, and they're just running the MRPD to fucking, pack them up
Nobody
and
should
get
be
them
doing
shipped off.
anything until the scene's complete.
Yeah, exactly.
Then they
That's
should be
my
treating 'em,
understanding. Right.
Putting them in the car, buckling their seatbelt in, tucking them in, putting their pillow behind their head.
Yeah, that's like
Give
one
them
thing
the
that I've
hospital.
seen too. I mean, it's not necessarily a big problem, but I don't like it, so I don't really do it. Is like, if we're in a shootout, I'll see cops grab someone's body, take their gun, and then just dump them. And it's kind of like, and I've heard people say, it's like, well, we lost, the gunfight, but at least we got their loot. And it's like, I just hate when like a situation's looked at like that.
Well, I mean, I'm sure, like I said, dude, I would love, and I'm sure a lot of cops would love, nothing more than to, like, when there's a scene, like, tape off the street, you know what I mean? Get the cars stationed out, set up like a perimeter, wait for EMS to show up, like, you know what I mean? Do a whole actual fucking scene. Like, I'm sure, I don't think there'd be a cop here that wouldn't want to do it.
I would love
It's
that.
just like I said, the longer you're out there, dude, you run the risk of, like, somebody's about to pull up and you're about to get absolutely fist fucked.
Yeah, and like,
And
I mean, it
that's
takes
really
two,
the problem.
Like, I mean, there's times where if they have one of our guys, it's like, yeah, we could suit up as a 5-man and just go roll them, but it's kind of like, it's only one guy, bro. Like, do we really need to go fucking kill every single cop for one guy that's probably gonna get like an emoji charge?
Well, you also have to
It
think
happens,
maybe
though.
you don't kill all the
My
cops,
gang
and there's
member
one that
comes
gets
to
away,
where
and then he has all the evidence against you, and then you get raided, and then you're wondering, why did I get raided? Well,
Yeah.
because you chose to go save that one guy, and there was evidence left behind, and they got the warrant for it. those are just factors that are kind of going to play into it, and it's kind of hard to avoid it. But
And then going back on like PD rushing shit, I think honestly, and I don't know if anyone else would agree, I think the hospital should be a green zone because like crims are literally
it's
just
kind of
grouped up.
awkward. It needs to be a green zone or
inside
removed.
of it is,
sitting.
But like
oh,
my
inside
thing
of
is,
it is.
like my thing is like I'll get into a shootout. Like the other day, I got into a shootout with triads, and I mean I was out in the open. I ran back inside the hospital, but like I kind of like subconsciously like I shouted. I was like, I ran in the hospital. You can still shoot me, like because like it's just weird because like I feel like if you're trying to break someone out, and then like a cop runs into Zona, like that just pauses or stops everything. Like
But
it's just
see,
kind of weird.
here's the problem though, right? Is if we don't turn things into green zone, it's cancer, and every single criminal every single time goes to get broken out.
Yeah, I
Like,
get
you
that. So
understand
I'm
that
saying,
we
I'm
wouldn't
saying
have
make
to.
the
We
whole
wouldn't
thing
have
a
to
green
come.
zone, or just remove it. Like
I think the whole thing should be a green zone. I think the
rather than
hospital
just
should
the inside.
because that way, if you guys want to get your boy out, right, you don't just camp the doors. Which is what happens. I mean, I'm literally watching you guys just sitting at the doors, just waiting for the cops to walk out. No, go post up where they might drive by, and then hit the convoy. That's what you guys should be doing. Not just sitting right outside the fucking hospital doors waiting to shoot them. Because yeah, hospital gunfights hospitals have gotten so bad, like so bad, with just confusion on the green zone. It's just absolutely chaotic because you got people seeing the light and then they're walking right out and there's 6 people, 12 people just shooting each other, and you're like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah,
So
you got cops getting down. They're not supposed to be in the scene anymore.
Right.
They get healed. They're coming out to leave, and they get shot again. And like, what are they supposed to do?
Yeah, I think the whole property of the hospital should be a green zone. Nothing should be going on there. If you want to get your boy out and, stop the cops, it should be while they're driving on the way to MIPD.
Yes, exactly. It should be the same thing as kind of like grabbing evidence for a raid. As
Exactly,
soon as we leave the parking lot, all for it. All for class 3s, bombs, AKs, anything. But
So does everybody
we have to get out of the parking lot.
Yeah, it's not really fair on EMS either because then they're stuck in the crossfire if a shootout does occur outside. Because half the time EMS are outside.
You can get patients in.
Guys, yeah, there's no need to like keep describing. Yeah, okay. So it seems like is everybody good with that? We'll just make the entire fucking property a green zone.
Yeah, I think
everybody
so.
good? Ops, scrims, everybody good?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm good with that. But like, also
describe it more.
It's also a case by case of, if people try to abuse it or not. If they're like,
But
I'm gonna go to
that's what we're trying to
yeah.
stop. So this sounds like it should stop it like decently to not have so much confusion. So I would say then let's just do that. Let's just make once they're in the parking lot, it's the whole property is a fucking green zone. So there's no more confusion.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, done. Easy. I'll change it literally right now.
I just hope not to be on my cop and be like, well, let's just stay in the parking lot because they can't do anything. So I don't hear that.
Run to the green zone.
But see, but again, that comes with its own fucking
you're still gonna die.
laundry list of issues. Like if somebody's doing it, like obviously trying to fucking exploit the fact that it's a green zone, then that's one thing. But if cops are using it to kind of stage up, if they're like, okay, we need to get going, but like let's make sure is everybody good, everybody's cool, everybody's got their shit, is everybody ready to go? Then that's okay. There's nothing wrong. I don't want cops. I don't want crims. Oh, this is pussy shit. No, dude. Like it's not that big of a deal to just not shoot for an extra 2 minutes. Like you know what I mean. Like that's the whole point of the rule is to like give everybody a breather real quick to like regroup, and then when they leave the parking lot, do your fucking thing. Go at it. Like do whatever the fuck you gotta do.
I want to, and I don't know if we ever bring up like suggestions from other servers and stuff like that, but I know NoPixel, I know what their police do, and like one of the things that they do is they have a barricade, like the barrier, and once they put it out, it means like if you cross that line, you're gonna get shot at. You know what I mean? And it's just like
I'll tell you right now, there's a lot of things that NoPixel does that everybody that complains about cops always do that. They cite NoPixel. They'll be like, somebody rammed me in NoPixel. They wouldn't, whatever. Like, no, bullshit, bro.
Yeah, they wouldn't.
They sit your car flying up a mountain for a store robbery.
Yeah,
bro. Like,
in NoPixel, you would be fucking dead, bro. Like, cops would fucking piss on your body, bro, and like it'd be in their SOPs.
I mean, I get what you're saying, buddy, but I feel like that also gives people like an overzealous cop a tool of like, well, I'm just gonna place this barrier down, and if anyone crosses it, they're dead, just because they kind of want to do it.
I was more interpreting it for like scenes, like it like at Zona, like when we have suspects at Zona that we need to get out of there, that we need to make it out of there, we just put up that fucking barricade. And if
I mean, now
anyone
it's a green zone, so it doesn't matter.
exactly. So yeah, just pretend I didn't say anything. I'm sorry.
Yeah, now it's exactly. Now
Mm.
this should essentially do what you're talking about. This should make it kind of like that. When they're there, everybody knows. That's where you give it a minute and fucking.
That should be a minute for them to plan. For them to plan fucking how to get the guy.
Yeah, because now you gotta have a plan of like setting up cars because like now it's like now you gotta stop a PD convoy now rather than camping a door.
Yeah. Clearing all that up.
So I'm changing it right now. So Mount Zona Hospital, parking lot, and
Yes, putting Hammer to work.
okay, Mount Zona Hospital parking lot.
Perfect.
So there we go.
Just also
So
throw in
now-
like
and
the
then, yeah,
above
we'll have
part
to
too,
make
just in case.
we'll have to make a fucking announcement too.
Like,
'cause
well, I wasn't in the parking lot. I was above.
Yeah, you should probably just say the
Just say
proper
Mount Zona
name,
in general.
because there's
Yeah,
there's
just
like
say Mount
shooter
Zona,
angles
yeah.
there and stuff. Yeah.
Hold on, but with that real quick. So then let's say something does happen, like you start chasing somebody, right? They got your boy, whatever. They're going back to MRPD, and they got your guy on a fucking drug charge or whatever it is. So let's say you start trying to pit all the cops to figure out which car he's in to try to get him to stop, and they just continue booking it to PD. How do you just like that just has you're just fucked or like
it's just no, I mean that's a tactic. You know what I mean? Like that's almost like when people complain that like, oh, they're just sitting in their MLO. Like I get it, but like it's a tactic. It's defense. You know what I mean? So like if they're trying to get to fucking MRPD, I mean that that to me, I get it. I understand why. That's the goal, right? Like cops want to get back to MRPD because that's where they're fucking safe, like so I understand why they'd be doing it. So I would just say you're just gonna have to try harder to stop them.
I mean, yeah, it just makes it's gonna make you have to actually plan something out. Like I mean,
you
go
gotta
block off the
stop their
gates.
fucking car. Yeah, like you gotta do whatever you can to stop that fucking car. Because I mean, that's what they're gonna do. I mean, you can in any like tactical situation or whatever, everybody's gonna say the same thing. Like if you're in the military or whatever, when you get ambushed and shit, like you should keep going. Like you shouldn't just stop what the fuck you're doing and sit in the middle of the ambush. Like you keep going. So cops would essentially do a similar thing. If they start getting fucking fucked with, they're gonna try to just keep fucking pushing and get back to fucking their base. You guys just have to, stop them, pin them, shoot tires, do what you got to do to slow them down.
I've had my vehicle stalled several times.
Hey, and also on that topic too, getting your guys out, there's a whole prison break system that you can utilize to get your people back too, and adds a huge element of RP to do.
Well,
and a lot of planning and stuff
not
that
right
we
now.
can do with that.
Let Cap touch on that. There is a system, but it's
the prison break system right now is and isn't in. It's not in for the fact that the items that you have to use aren't even attainable.
Actually,
and also the fact that when the script prison break actually goes off, it gets you immediately teleported back inside because of some MLO issues. So when those MLO issues get fixed and we get all the gates and door locks and everything working properly, yes, there will be a prison break system where you can break people out of prison. But the alert system is going to be very different to where it's not a proximity based, because right now you would have to get almost 50 feet away from the prison yard for it to actually even send it off. And it's going to be the second that you try to tap that front door or you try to do that hack. So it's going to be a little heist of its own to get your friends out of prison, but it will be making its way back into the server.
We do have the items accessible now through multiple means. That's one of our new things, but he's right. Yeah, the script itself is not currently, everything's not put together. It's not functional. But it
only brought it up.
There are things you can do, because I've had a couple of people say that you get in prison, there's something to do at all. There is jobs in prison that knock your time down.
A lot, actually.
It's only bringing it up.
Thing. You can sit at the electrical thing and knock a 30-minute sentence down in like 5 minutes, 10 minutes.
But even
only bringing it up just because we spent 20 minutes talking about what are we going to do to get our boys back and all that stuff. It's like, well, there's a huge RP element that was there and will be back. So we can also focus on that.
but even to touch on that,
like if you're chill with cops, You know, like if you guys aren't being fucking shitlords and just like mercilessly attacking and calling out rule breaks and SOP warriors and all that shit, if you
Prison
guys are chill with
transport.
cops, yeah, you can do prisoner transports, and I'm sure cops would be open to do it if you're like chill about it. I know cops used to like doing prisoner transports, like they were fun, and it gives you an opportunity to get your people back in like a kind of a fun way.
I mean, it's
I
just
would
about
agree
going
with the
about
most.
it. It's just about going about it the right way and not being like, yo, give me a prison transfer, pussy. Don't be scared. You know you're gonna get rolled.
Yeah, if
That's
you're
true.
chill about it and you're not like running, tackling people while you're handcuffed and shit, then you can, yeah, like they're gonna be more open to doing a transport if you want. You know what I mean?
They have to have
I
enough
have a
cops to
question.
do it to a certain baseline.
Back from what I remember, when
Really?
it came to that, like a prison transport, you can have as many people as you want. Is that still the case?
No.
That was like I know what you're talking
That
about.
was
That was like a
wild.
weird
That was
yeah,
for
that
the
was a weird event thing for Azuma
yeah.
when he was doing his like RP shit. But
Yeah.
that's not how it works now. You still I mean I would say you could probably bring 6 since
I'd
that's
say
well
Most of the
yeah, I'd
time,
say you
to
could
be
probably be in
honest,
6 and then you break that person out, but
A lot of
most
times
time
too,
when
it
you
was
do it,
negotiated with cops. They would be like, "How many people do you have? We have 6," and then cops would try to
yeah,
like match and be like, "All right, we'll take 6 then," and fucking to
yeah,
make it,
but
to make it kind of chill
Well,
for
that's what.
everyone.
So 6 on top of the person that you're breaking out, so 7
Well,
in
that's
total.
right.
that's what I was gonna
Right.
ask. Yeah, because
yeah,
if you got like 3 people getting transported, like, do you just ask like can 6 people still show up and
yeah.
shoot, and then that 3, if they break out, can they get like can they involve themselves as well? Like, that's
I think
fine.
I'd
they
say
will.
no.
Typically, they're
Yeah,
probably going to be handcuffed. So I mean,
yeah.
really,
True.
They can be
Yeah,
handcuffed,
yeah,
and
you know
true.
what I mean?
they
Like
can't do anything.
they're kind of dead weight.
Yeah,
Yeah, like
Yeah.
to an extent.
okay,
So I would
And
say
plus
be
they're trying to
chirping.
get out of there, so them sticking around and
right, yeah, yeah.
getting into it would be kind of it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you're doing a prison transport and you have 3 people, you should be able to come with a 6 man, and their main goal is to literally just get out, not get unhandcuffed, and then here, pick up a gun.
Yeah,
Or
that's
even
fair.
steal the bus, steal their people in it.
Yeah.
True.
As we all
But
Pick up
not
their
even
cargo
but not
bus.
even that. That if like we have your like 2 of your boys in the cells, like if you can like open your mind with the role play and just do a hostage handover, like you've grabbed 2 of our cops that are very high priority to us, and we want to get them back, you want to exchange them for your guys. I'm more than willing to do that because to me that's content, that's role play right
Hold
there.
on,
Also,
hold on,
don't do that
hold on,
too
because
often though.
I'm not a huge fan.
Yeah.
It's the whole
every
cop
hostage.
hostage thing.
I mean, the
Gets
concept behind it is
fucking
cool, but the
messy.
moment you start letting people do it, now it's like, well, I know I
It's
can get
gonna
all 4 of
get
my guys out,
Everybody
but I
does
can't
it
get
all
one of
the
your
time. They
cops.
just go to the one cop that
yeah.
doesn't know what the fuck is going on, and then he's sitting at Benny's, gets taken hostage, and now you're like, okay, bring me 9 of my guys out, or I'm gonna shoot this
Yeah.
cop. And if you don't do it, I'm reporting you for
But
NVI.
at that
Like
point,
it
I
turns to
figure
shit.
something out where it's like 2 cops, 1 person. Like just like
No,
I
Yeah,
no.
don't
no,
think we need that.
I just
honestly,
think it's too
that
messy. It's not
it
needed.
is. It is.
It's
Yeah,
way
it
too
never it's never done right, and it's just like I said, the moment it is done right, the rest is just gonna turn into shit when they do it again. So yeah, I think honestly that's fair. Just
I would
no,
say
you
I
do
wouldn't
not.
mind if there was like a specific person, like let's say like the leader of your gang was fucking taken hostage or was arrested, right? And somebody came to staff and was like, "Hey, would it be cool if we did like, because it's our leader, like would it be cool if we did?" Then I might be a little more open to say, "Okay, fuck it. Yeah, like if cops are cool with it and if they have enough, sure, let's see how it goes." But I would not say it just be a general rule that just
I mean,
anybody can fucking do it.
maybe rather than making it a rule, like a hard rule, maybe it's up to the discretion of the cops. So that way, there still is maybe a chance that, like you said, Snow could be like, you know what, let's do this negotiation, rather than just completely scrapping it. Because
Because all that's going to happen is like, for instance, Shifu. Let's say he does it and Snow's cool with it, and then the next time his buddy gets arrested, he's going to do it again, and the second cop is not cool with it. Shifu's going to be like, "What the fuck, bro? You guys do this? I've done it before.
Yeah.
Like, why won't you do it?" You know what I mean? That's what I said. It's too messy, dude. Like,
Can I walk around with my 50 cal pistol?
No.
with a
Why
what?
not? Get a license.
No, I
for it.
told you only maybe if you're undercover, you can't just.
I didn't use it though. I'm sorry.
Get a
Yeah, I was
Shout out
walking around
JC.
Max Parker
I was just
Jr.
flexing
Shout
it,
out
bro, and then
JC.
someone complained. Like I was just a flex. I can't even flex shit, dude.
Not being able to-
Literally flexed it in a in a bobcat, and then I got yelled at.
Hammer, I have a question. How
Yeah.
many drops do we have in a 24-hour cycle?
What do you mean? Like those?
Like because I
those
know we have
airdrops?
one. Yeah, I know we have one at 10 in the morning, at 10 at night. Are those the only 2?
I think those are the only 2 that are like scheduled.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
because
you
I
can
was
call
I was
them in.
gonna ask if it was possible to have one like in the middle of the day, like 5 p.m. Central Time, or like somewhere in between there, like because like or 10 in the morning is sometimes too early for a lot of people, and then 10 at night is too late. If we're
Well,
gonna have one
the
like in the
morning
middle.
one
Well, I mean,
is
Times.
yeah, that's more for EU
Yeah.
players, and then we
Well,
have it
well,
at
yeah, that's what
11 p.m. EST, which at that point it's 10 Central, 9 whatever the other one is, and then 8. So it
it's
goes
just,
back.
my point is
But
just the fact
10
that
tends
usually
to be better.
the server's usually kind of just like kind of low and died out. So like early in the mornings, like even if it is for EU, there's like what 12 people on max usually, and then like at night there's like, I mean it's a little bit different at night. There's usually like 20, 25, so it's not that big of a deal. But like if we can have one in the middle where we're kind of like at our max, like
Log
we're
on
at like
earlier, bro.
35. I mean, I'm just
Make
I
a-
don't think
make
we
a
need a
suggestion.
third
I want more
If you
people
were to do
to
that,
show
just
up.
make a
Is the
suggestion.
thing.
Like I'm gonna be honest, like I like the airdrops how they are. I like the 2. I don't feel like we need more
It's a
than
roleplay server.
than
Locations
2.
are
You
good.
know what I'm saying?
I'm pretty sure with that script, it's a time based upon when that script starts, which is upon the server starting. It's a time based from that point forward. It will do one and then wait that same amount of time, then do one and then wait, and then it just falls over that the server just restarted, so it's going to reset. So it's a time based thing. It's not like we want one to go now, and it's a time based stretch out. So if we change it to have it earlier, we're going to have way more happen throughout the server's session versus what we would like to do. And to be fair, I want to change that script anyway, but
I mean, I think if
More
you get
airdrops.
caught camping, it should
Red
just
zones.
be a report it. You know, it shouldn't be you should know that it's metagaming. You know that if you're gonna camp that drop.
Well,
Yeah,
that's the thing.
definitely.
Like, the airdrops
They're
aren't
random.
really like yeah.
They're not random,
They're
really.
not
There's
a
like
little bit.
there's like 3 or 4 locations they can come down.
But yeah, bro. Have you seen my bush camping trip?
That's the thing. Well, that's the
Yeah,
thing.
that's
Like the
right.
airdrops. I mean, the airdrops is fucking RDM anyway. So like, it's not like you start throwing rolls on something that's just like a literal KOS zone, and like it's just always gonna be a fuck fest. So like, I think just leave that shit fucking how it is.
Because like right now, I mean, when you think about going to airdrop, I mean, you're getting shot, you're getting robbed. Like that's the end of it.
Yeah,
Like, it's not
you're-
deeper than that.
Yeah, exactly.
Fuck some people up.
It's like
And that's
you
kind of
know,
the whole point of them. The point is to like scratch the itch of like, hey,
Yeah.
like,
yeah,
I want to go shoot some shit. Oh, there's an airdrop. Fuck yeah, like they're really.
and it's also like out in the fucking boonies too, so like you don't have to go. Like it's not like one's
Yeah,
gonna
yeah.
drop at your feet and you're like, oh
Mega
damn
Mall.
it.
Yeah.
We could also look at adding more locations
Yes,
to the
please. Mega Mall.
drops, and
Yeah, we can.
that
Oh,
would
not
help.
Mega
That
Mall.
would help with randomization.
Not Mega Mall. We
Mega Mall be
specifically
fire.
made those points. We specifically chose those locations because they're like out of the city.
Yeah.
Yeah, drop them in gang hideouts.
White Castle Roof.
Just drop them in gang hideouts. You got to go push their gang block.
Is there anything else that we haven't touched? Gang, crims, cops, anything?
Scene limits probably is another one.
Scene limits probably does need to be
Like-
visited. 'cause
See,
they
scene
have
limits. Scene limits is weird
reserved.
because like, it's like we have a limit on cars. Let's say 3 cars go to a Fleeca, but then they can have as many cops as they want in those cars. They are well 4 obviously.
The main issue for me is like when we're doing like little crimes. Like if we're doing a store, we shouldn't have a fucking like 3 different trucks, 2 Chargers, a Corvette.
There's scene limits. That's in the rules.
Yeah.
There's scene
Well,
limits.
but
They
the
haven't
seam,
been
the
observed.
seam limits. The seam limits are on vehicles though, not how many officers. So like, if you had 3 cars pull up at a bank and 4 cops in, I mean, you're fighting 12 cops is like let's say a 2 or 3 man.
Cops are
You
almost
shouldn't be
never
robbing a
rolling that
bank. I
deep.
mean, that's the thing, though. I mean, you could pull up at 6. Like, we're not.
Yeah,
We're not
you
gonna
probably
match
shouldn't be
the-
robbing a bank at
The issue that we ran into before was just cars. Everybody was sick of doing a store and having fucking 9 police units chasing. So you were basically you could never get away because if one crashed out, there was another. If another crashed out, there was another. So that's why we set it up the way that we are. We're not doing like people limits for fucking for cops.
I mean, that's
Put
one
them in the
thing
car. They
too.
go to the car, and that's it.
Yeah, that's one thing too that I brought up like a few days ago was I mean, I personally feel like a car paralleling and giving call outs is it should be counted as a car to your number as a cop. So like, I mean, if
it should be.
I mean, well, no one really treats it like that because we'll have 3 cars on a chase and then we'll have fucking 2 more on different streets and then they turn down there and like let's say we lost sight. You know, if we lost sight with our original 3 cars, they technically should be gone. but we were able to just recover because
Well,
we
it
have all
should
these
work the
parallel
same as like
cars.
criminal shit, where any car that's giving call outs or whatever, like, is part of the scene. Like, it
Yeah,
should be the same
that's
thing.
what I was saying, but I don't think a lot of people are on page
Okay,
with
well,
like
people
that
need to
being
start
a thing.
following the rules. Like, it's literally in the rules. Like, it's not like something that's like a unspoken.
I mean, I personally, I'll be honest, I haven't been counting parallels as units.
Okay, fair enough. Then that's fine.
I'll be
Just start
honest.
counting parallels.
I figured that if we have the units and they can parallel on fucking scene, why not? Like, I
Yeah,
don't know.
no, then okay, fair
I
enough.
don't know.
Easy.
So I'll be
Then,
honest. I could fix that honestly.
yeah,
As
that's fine.
chief,
Then
I will
we'll
admit
focus.
that
Yeah, it's easy.
I've not been counting parallels as units. I've just been letting
Okay.
them do their thing. So
Easy. Then there we
if
go.
that's something we could fix, then perfect.
Perfect fix.
Yeah, all right, cool.
I'll be honest with that one.
Hey.
All right.
Oh, hold on. Let me read Caesar's message. Why does the city always feel like my shit FPS doesn't go more than 60?
You will be
Well, the
seeing some
next-
performance
yeah, I was gonna
increases
say,
with
yeah.
3.1 for sure. Cap has done a lot of work on optimizing the system, and there's still a lot more optimization to be done with cars, with clothes, with maps. We're going through everything. We're trying to make the city run better.
Is there any word on? I don't know if it's been brought up. I'm assuming it has. Of the UI. Skateboards are cool. Anyways, the UI like lagging, like because I mean there was
With 3.1, there will be a UI reset command that any player can do that will completely reload all of your UI stuff and fix any
I don't
issues
mean with the
UI.
hacks. I mean like I mean I guess you're probably answering my question, but like what I was talking about more was like if I'm putting on an armor or something, like one time I'll pop it in like 10 seconds, and then next time it'll be a minute.
Well, it's two issues with that. One being the longer you stay in the server, there's something in the UI that's slowing it down. There's a lot of something hitting the UI, and I have actually investigated our UI pretty heavily as far as all of our stuff and how
Just
FiveM does it. To be fair, FiveM does an awful job with their UI. It's absolute crap. But with that command, the reload UI refreshes 70% of the iframes that we have in server, which means it does reload all of that stuff. I have personally, purposefully lagged out my inventory in the dev server to where I hit my inventory button and it would take a good almost 6 seconds to open. I ran that command and it was instant opening right after I ran that command.
Does that work like in like I don't mean like a live like server wise, but I mean like let's say I pop an armor and I notice it's gonna take a minute. Could I do the command then and it would would it change anything then, or would change it for my next
it
one
would
that I do?
cancel out you using the armor.
It wouldn't even cancel it. It would just null it out. It's like nothing would happen. We do have, and this is in the 3.1 changelog. The cancellation with the progress bar is coming back with 3.1. I think we even said that in the community announcement. So there is cancellation back with 3.1. We had a lot of optimizations in our core and several other things that allowed us to bring that back.
If you abuse it to sell drugs and stuff, you're getting banned.
So
damn it, dude, I was about to
that,
beat my gold bars.
well, actually, I'd be really careful with that because there's something else with 3.1. We have a new security system.
Yeah, there is.
And it will automatically drop your tail and send a message to the staff team that you're exploiting.
Yeah, we have way better exploit logs now.
Hear that, Kilo?
Kilo's not in here
If you
anymore.
try to exploit a script, it will drop you quick, and we're not light on exploiters.
Isn't that right, Kilo?
But
Is just let him own the casino. He keeps asking for it.
On a more positive note, with 3.1, I've currently got over 3 messages. Like I reached the Discord limit 3 times so far of all our changelogs. That command, reloading all your UIs, will fix that. If you are doing your armor and for whatever reason it just stops, cancel it. That way it doesn't use the item. And also it doesn't use the item until actually it completely finishes. You can literally just do UI-R. It will reload your inventory, reload UI. It does take about 20 to 30 seconds because a lot of the UI screens are going to pop up in your face, like the hacks and that kind of stuff, because they're reloading. And I did it without delay, and it was cancer watching my screen because everything was popping in my face and going away, popping in my face, going away. It was like the worst form of like epilepsy like ever. So it does have a timeout on it to let those UI screens load and then go back to the way they were. It does, like I said, take about 30 to 40 seconds for the full UI to reload. After that, it loads fine. There's a couple things like the phone, QB core itself, I couldn't reload because it would just fully break the phone and you would have to fly out and fly back in to fix it, which completely defeated the purpose. And a couple other things. So basically what I'm saying, 3.1, when it comes out, please read the change logs. We have been working our tails off on getting everything optimized and working very well.
That's asses for people that don't speak Cap.
Yeah.
Everything's getting better. Systems become more optimized. We're getting new features. We're trying to make the things we have run much better. And in our testing and the dev server, even though we have a couple bugs to work out, everything is running way smoother.
Have we touched every concern that we could think of? Buddy, Snow, cop side? How you guys feeling right now?
I just came back. I just made a cup of tea.
Jesus
Hard
Christ,
copy.
fucking British people.
Fucking tea.
Buddy, you there?
Yeah, no, I'm
Shot a
pretty
gun.
satisfied with everything that we've gone over.
Okay.
I don't know. Is there any other
Uh,
questions from anybody else?
Sorry, the Lakers are on.
Casino would be making his way in eventually, but a lot of scripts have a ton of exploits in them.
Yeah, by the way, gang leaders, I want to talk to you guys after the meeting.
PD count?
No.
Fuck.
Gretchen, we just spent over an hour talking about how we're going to do that. Not to be too rude or anything, but that's what we've
Hey,
been doing.
Grandma,
That's
get
whole
on
point
the
of this.
page.
He got fired, guys.
About time.
But I'd get fired before him.
That's what I'm saying.
I got promoted though. I don't know what I'm doing.
How'd this man get promoted with that many strike points, buddy?
Yeah.
Because he does well with cadets and other stuff.
You let this
What?
guy train people?
I don't trade anyone. I'm like, yo, I'm not an FTO. Don't
Listen,
stick someone with me.
You're an active and you don't break the rules like that. And I don't get complaints.
I just
about
don't get
you.
caught. I just don't
You know,
get
yeah, he doesn't get caught. Yeah, he doesn't get caught breaking the rules.
Gretchen was the hands down the officer with the most complaints in our department. Hands
that's
down.
probably valid.
There was it was hands down.
And then
And
yesterday,
she
just
assaulted me,
yeah.
and I had
No evidence. You tried to leave with a bunch of evidence. What do you mean?
Jesus.
I
Alright,
said, don't hit me, and she smacked me with a baton, and I said, okay, you're suspended, and then she tried to hit me again and missed, and said, you're lucky, and I said, all right, you're fired.
Wonder you don't do anything worth getting fired for.
Yeah.
So,
Well, are we all ready to conclude this meeting?
Yes.
W. Sick. Thank you. Put in suggestion.
Car bomb. She blew up our fucking whole gang.
Are we allowed to do revenge RP still?
Yeah.
Where like let's say we're in the cells and we say I'm gonna kill you when I see you and then we just kill them, we don't have to initiate afterwards.
Right with you, Paul.
I would say if you put
You have to
actual role play into
Role
it,
play,
initiate onto it, and then actual give role play for it.
Yeah, you
But
can't just roll up and KOS just
yeah,
because you told someone you.
but then obviously remember of your kidnapping
Initiate
time
on.
limit.
Yeah.
You need to RP shit.
If I could call someone and tell them I'm gonna kill you and then roll up and not say a word.
That's
It'd be the greatest
fire.
thing ever.
That's
The
an
best
RP
thing
right
ever.
there. Do a drive by and that shit.
Yeah, you know what Poophead's gonna do? He's gonna answer the phone and kill you, and then you're gonna get shot right after you hang up.
Yes.
As soon as you hang up, you're gonna get shot.
Fire. Got caught lacking pussy, or we just did it.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what's gonna happen. But
See, if that happened, I was on the phone and someone said you're gonna die and I get shot as I get off the
That's
phone, then I'll just be on the floor pissing myself.
That'd be fire. Yeah.
I mean, I think the coolest one that happened to me is I pissed off the
hard
circus.
copy, real quick, because I'm trying to conclude
Anyways,
this.
and they sniped me and did exactly what I talked about.
Copy. Real quick. Kev, I think we brought up that car shooting script before, the one where you're like actually hanging out the window. What
It has several exploits in it. Only works with native cars. Doesn't work with any imports at all. So it's not really an option. Most people use imports anyway, so it would just go back to normal standard GTA shooting.
More local cars though.
Yeah, I was gonna say I really don't mind that part of it. I
Yeah.
think if but the thing is, if you're saying there's a lot of exploits to it, then yeah, like fuck it then. But honestly, like the biggest problem with car shooting, Berlin, is just the complete bulletproof backends of super, $3 million cars just being in gang wars. That's
Yeah.
like
Actually, while we've been talking, I spent the time. I actually fixed a weapon pull script, so you can actually pull a weapon out in a car, and then when you get out of the car, you have weapon in your hand. You don't have to get out of the car and then pull it out again.
I think it's simple. I think a simple fix for car shooting is just first person shooting in cars because I mean,
Cars die faster with bullets.
and then
but I mean,
and
but
then
even
you
but like
exploit it.
if you have first person shooting, I mean, if you have a bulletproof back car, like you won't even be able to see.
There
out the
is
car.
exploits around.
I only think car shooting should be allowed if PD has, automatic weapons to match it. That was their biggest disadvantage. Is that Crims would ram us into a corner and fucking automatic pistol us through their windshield. There was no stopping it. There was
Not
no
even through
stopping it,
the
no matter
windshield.
what we wanted to do. That was it, and that's the main reason why it's gone.
They would grab their Jesco and just use just shoot at the back window.
That's not why it's gone.
I definitely don't know why it's
I'll show you the clip of why it's gone. You ever back
No,
down
we're
a
not.
whole
No,
road in a
negative.
Jesco?
Negative. Well, okay, we're not here to watch clips anyway. But yeah, like I said, the reason is because literally every vehicle that was being used in a car shooting is that it literally just you couldn't shoot into the car from the back. That was the issue of why it was removed. But yeah, like I said, that was looked into, and it just Cap says it won't work, so it just is what it is. But yeah, that should be everything.
I do have a fix for it coming very soon. I've been slammed with 3.1, but the second I can get to it, and the reason why I brought up the weapon pool thing is because now I have the ability of doing weapon detecting in cars better. So I should be able to write something, if not before 3.1, definitely before 3.2, which will bring back car shooting, but have the correct limitations.
Just don't find another exploit for it.
It's okay. Thompson will
Green
figure it out.
people.
Yeah, I'll let you guys know. Totally.
Yeah, sure you will.
Big ZP shit, you heard?
Answer to Copper's question: can you duck inside cars? As far as I know, you can. It is native in GTA if you hit your right control muscle.
What the? I hold my annex.
Yeah, you gotta hold your X. It's weird for me. That's what it is.
Oh yeah, for me it's right control. X is to put my hands up.
Pass out in the car, man.
That doesn't work anymore. That doesn't work anymore.
Oh, it works if you got a hotkey.
Yeah, whoa.
Really? Good to know. Anyway,
Of course you know that.
Does everyone feel good to conclude this meeting?
Yeah. Nope.
Don't
Hi,
ask.
Wex.
Just say it's concluded.
Oh, it's
We're
a
gonna
Wex.
end.
Please.
Hi, Wex.
Yo, Wax. Nice talk, man. All right, let's end it, please.
Anyways, moral of the story: be nicer to each other. RP more.
Yeah,
that's pretty much the message.
Yeah, just Crims, remember, the moment you keep fucking up and just being shitlords, it's just a snowball effect for PD to just not give a fuck. And at that point, you really can't blame them. You really
Same
can't.
for PD. You all hardball them and act like assholes. The Crims are just going to start acting up and giving you a hard time, making it not fun.
Sure.
You shut up.
Thompson.
End it, Chase.
Gus, to answer your question, English.
End it.
Host a
You don't
talent
need
show.
PD permission to host a talent show.
You can figure that out in City. That's a find out in City. All right, I'm concluding this meeting. Appreciate everyone for showing up and attending. I think we, I think we really answered questions that needed to get answered and shit got handled. I hope we can, like I said, get on the same playing field and just role play, because at the end of the day, that's all that matters, right?
Sure.
Excuse me, Thompson.
Yeah.
Yeah, roleplay is key.
High five.
What the hell?
Why are you? How?
I'm gifted, young.
But all right, including this meeting. Get the fuck out of here. Besides gang leaders, please come to gang meeting.
Cool.
Oh, and now Wex shows up as the meeting's adjourned.
He's been here for a minute.
Oh, has he been? Oh, everyone just noticed he's in there.
You didn't hear earlier when people started talking about the fact that he was in here?
No, I was making a cup of tea.
Too busy making making another cup of tea.
I was making a cup of tea.
You're
Had to be done.
worst.
Had to be done.
Nah, grandma down there, she's the worst.
Oh, I know.
Zero.
Oh, I was scared with her yesterday. I didn't know what she had up her sleeve, but she was digging herself.
Oh
Oh,
man, I was
she was
waiting to
digging
see
herself.
what
Oh,
ridiculousness she would do. It's grandma's specialty, digging a hole, man. Especially with PD. The number of like crazy situations I got into with her just doing stupid stuff. It's crazy.
See, any other cop, if she went to any other cop to go get the shit out of her personal locker, she would have got away. But with me, nah, ain't gonna work. I turned to drill sergeant.
The second grandma starts playing smart with her crim, cops get absolutely fucked every time.
Huh. Check
You
that
play more
out.
smart stuff. Hell of a lawsuit. Yeah, I do
Let's hit
believe
this
she is
after.
doing
I
you.
might have figured something out.
Oh, you can crack on with a lawsuit. I'm looking forward to it.
Oh god, so many people are suing PD. It's so much work. We have so few staff.
You should mention a lawsuit, Snow.
What's up?
I said it's funny that you should mention a lawsuit.
Why?
Grandma brought it up because she's representing the plaintiffs in like 4 of the lawsuits against PD.
That's fine. That's fine. I'll represent PD and all of them.
Gotta get. If Dixon can't make something happen this week, by the way,
Yeah,
Winfield,
yeah.
we're gonna be moving to a settlement.
Yeah, Dixon needs to hurry up, dude.
Like, this has been dragging out for too long. If he can't be available this week when everyone else is available, then we're just gonna move to a summary from Hanka where he decides how much goes to who.
-50 and.
Well, I won't be available until Thursday and Friday.
I know. I'm just telling you how it's going. Me and Hanka had a conversation about it earlier.
Good numbers.
I'll message him.
Because his case has already passed up our normal expiration for civil cases.
My camera, check this out. I just figured something out. Kind of cool.
Can you make people's cars spontaneously on fire?
I could, but